Chapter 1459. You're sure? Chapter 1459. You're sure? He was almost blown away. The Beast King question of God really had no choice. After a few hours of intense clash, even though he did not kill Long Fei, he was still mostly injured. Moreover, he truly admired Long Fei. From the bottom of his heart, he admired the fact that this person's cultivation was not strong, but he was still able to unleash such a powerful force. He was truly extraordinary. I'm convinced. That should be fine, right? The Beast King question of God said. Huff. Long Fei exhaled a long breath. Every inch of his body was wounded, and fresh blood dripped down, as if he had crawled up from a pool of blood. Long Fei said in his heart, Girl, this is my method. This is my Tao. The Sleeping Beauty was dumbstruck. It was the first time she had been shocked. He was shocked for Long Fei. She had other ways to make the Beast King question of God submit, but her way might not be able to make him admire her, and it would not be 100% of making him submit to Long Fei. But Long Fei did it. He had done it with his Tao. The Sleeping Beauty was silent for a moment. Then it giggled and said, Master, so mighty and domineering, so powerful that even lightning strikes to the sky, he. While they were talking, there were tears in her eyes. She knew better than anyone how hard Long Fei was trying. It could be said that not even the super powerhouse on the Heavenly Emperor board could withstand the intense battle for 3 to 4 hours. Long Fei had won. This was his Tao. Even if you want to fight me head-on, I'll still overturn you. Long Fei did not see the tears in the Sleeping Beauty's eyes. He stared at the Beast King question of God and said, If you submit, then become my war pet now. Be your war pet. The Beast King question of God was startled. Long Fei immediately shouted, What? Can't you? He raised his sleeves and clenched his fists. As long as the Beast King question of God dared to say half a word of no, he would immediately punch it out. The Beast King question of God was truly afraid of Long Fei now, and said, all right, what you say is what it is it not enough? Right? Be my war pet. You have something special about you. I want to use you to cultivate a kind of technique. Long Fei did not hide anything and directly said it. The reason he wanted the Beast King question of God was so that he could cultivate the fitted soul, the kind of power that instantly absorbed Beast King question of God's semi-realistic realm. This was what he wanted. Huh? The Beast King question of God's eyes widened in shock and said, To become your war pet, I still need to give you cultivation techniques. You, can I? Long Fei bellowed, his fists clenched tightly as his joints cracked. The Beast King question of God immediately stopped and said, Okay, whatever you say is fine. I just hope that you don't fight anymore. If you continue fighting, I'm really going to die. Too tired. Long Fei was satisfied. That's more like it. And then, Long Fei slightly said, Then do as I say. The Beast King question of God nodded and said, Brother, whatever you say, I admire you. The idea connected. Long Fei released the power of the fitted soul. Next, the sea of consciousness of the Beast King question of God shook suddenly. Its expression was one of shock. This kind of cultivation technique? Divine abilities? So powerful. Beast King question of God was secretly shocked. One man, one beast's idea established a trusting relationship, just like when they signed a contract. Once Long Fei signed it, they would be able to control the Beast King question of God. It could absorb all the energy in his body. In other words, the current Long Fei had the power of semi-realistic realm, the entire strength of Beast King question of God. Huff! After doing all this, Long Fei heaved a sigh of relief and fell on his butt. His heart relaxed, as though he was going to collapse. I almost died here. The Beast King question of God said, Boss, you can really take it head on. Long Fei said, It's not easy, brother. The Beast King question of God said, What if I still don't agree? Long Fei did not hide anything, and said, If you do not agree, then I'm afraid you are already dead. Long Fei's eyes revealed a sharp look. Long Fei's own strength may not be enough to kill the Beast King question of God, but he still had a hidden trump card that he had not used. If he was truly on the verge of death, Long Fei would also go all out and use the power of the 60 level of Golden Cudgel. However, at that time, the Beast King Question of God would probably be insta-killed. The energy of the main artifact on the 60th floor? What could it be? Zhan Wushuang, can you still hold on? Long Fei was a little excited when he thought of the power of the Golden Cudgel's 60th floor. This staff could definitely turn over a large number of people. And then, he summoned the healing spring out. Long Fei said slightly, "Rest for a bit and recover." The healing spring quickly healed the wounds on Long Fei's and the Beast King Question of God's body. 24 hours are up. Feng Tian seemed to be more enthusiastic than anyone else as he immediately said to Zhao Kong, "Elder, you can seal the entrance of the secret world now and summon all the people inside." Yi Jingyun looked at the exit of the secret world and thought to himself, "Boss, you didn't finish the exam?" If it wasn't completed, if he scored 0 3 times, he would lose his qualification to take the exam. At the same time, Yi Jingyun was determined that even if Long Fei failed, he would not stay. He was already disappointed in the Tower Question of God. Zhao Kong slightly smiled and said, "Not bad, it's time." According to what I said before, disciples who have not completed the examination within 24 hours will not pass. If you don't pass, you get 0 points. Zhao Kong was secretly pleased with himself in his heart. Ever since the violent tremors in the secret world had disappeared, he was certain that Long Fei had already been turned into mincemeat. There was no longer any possibility of him surviving. He was very sharp in this matter. They would definitely receive Kai Tiannan's rewards. And then, Zhao Kong ordered, "Close secret world. Long Fei, you lost." Ha! In his heart, he was extremely pleased with himself. Feng Tian also stared at Yi Jingyun and said, "Yi Jingyun, your master will never come out. Ha! Even if he comes out, he would be kicked out of the Tower Question of God. He's destined to be someone who doesn't belong to the same world as me. So when I pass the examination and become a member of the Tower Question of God, he'll be an ant in my eyes. Ha ha." Many people laughed proudly, just as the secret world was about to close. Boom! A figure flashed past. A man rushed out, his body covered in blood. He let out a long breath and said, "I finally dared to come back. I was almost too late." The person who rushed out was no other than Long Fei. Zhao Kong's eyes turned sinister. His expression immediately changed, and he asked, "Long Fei?" Feng Tian's expression also changed greatly. Yi Jingyun and Nangong Yen were overjoyed and became excited. Long Fei looked at the astonishment and anger in Zhao Kong's eyes and could not help but sneer. "I'm out. Are you very disappointed?" Zhao Kong shouted and said, "Long Fei, take out the Beast Question of God's head and take a look." The other disciples did not take them out, because if they wanted to take out the 2 Beast Question of God's heads, they could only use the marks on the heads of the Beast Question of God. No special inspection is required. This Zhao Kong was obviously making things difficult for Long Fei. Long Fei grinned and smiled. "Are you sure?" Chapter 1460 is overbearing. Chapter 1460 is overbearing. Are you sure? Long Fei looked at Zhao Kong and asked playfully. When Long Fei came out, was exactly at the node that was sealed within the secret world. In other words, it was very likely that Long Fei had been automatically teleported back because of the secret world's 24 hours limit. You know, in order to protect the exam disciples, once the time was up, they would be teleported back. It was very likely that he had been teleported out of the secret world at this time, and not from a Beast Question of God. Moreover, most importantly, the Beast King Question of God would definitely not let Long Fei out alive. The violent tremors just now, the rumbling sounds, even Secret World could not withstand it. He did not believe that Long Fei could endure it. Combining all of these, Zhao Kong sneered and said, "I'm very sure, Long Fei, you can't possibly not be able to take it out, right?" Long Fei said, "Why not bet on something? You don't have to bet your life on it. Do you dare?" Zhao Kong's face darkened. He shouted, "Long Fei, I am the examiner. You have to do whatever I tell you to. If you dare to cause any trouble, be careful. I will disqualify you." Long Fei laughed. Do you dare, or don't you dare? Very tough. Feng Tian shouted and said, Elder, bet with him he must have been teleported back by the secret world. Exactly. Otherwise, why would he appear on the node? That must be it. Many people started to loudly shout. Long Fei's eyes swept across them and said, You guys want to gamble your lives as well? Together. Feng Tian sneered. Long Fei, how valuable do you think your life is? Using your life to bet on the lives of all of us. You really think highly of yourself. Who do you think you are? TCH. Long Fei shot a glance at Feng Tian and said, To be honest, I really look down on your life. His gaze shifted. Since they were too lazy to explain themselves to Feng Tian, none of them took it seriously. They stared at Zhao Kong and said, Examiner, do you dare? A life wager? At the beginning, there was also an elder wagering his life with Long Fei. However, he was dead. Zhao Kong looked at Long Fei's calm expression, and his heart trembled slightly. He shouted, Long Fei, I'm ordering you to hand over the beast question of God. If not, you'll be awarded a 0 in this exam, and a 0 in 3 times. You just wait to get out of the examination hall. Zhao Kong did not want to take the risk. Rub. Long Fei contemptuously said, Truly boring. Since you want to look, then you better watch carefully with me. His heart stirred as he asked solemnly, Beast King question of God, how is your recovery going? The Beast King question of God responded slightly, I should have recovered half of my body by now. Do you have any instructions, boss? Long Fei said, I really don't like Zhao Kong. Beast King question of God's IQ was astonishing, and she immediately said, Understood. Then, Long Fei grinned, Watch carefully. Beast King question of God, come out. Rumble. After a furious roar, an explosive sound resounded in the air. The shadow in the sky covered the entire martial arts practice grounds. Everyone was shocked. He raised his head and looked over. What is that black shadow? What's that? It's getting closer and closer. It seems to be a demon beast. This aura, the aura of a beast question of God. Aren't all beast question of God in the secret world? Why do they come out? Run. They were very clear about the strength of a beast question of God. If they were to sit on this, but if they were to be pressed down, they would instantly become a pile of meat paste. There was no way for them to survive. The surrounding oracle were also shocked as they started to run. Long Fei giggled and looked at Zhao Kong. Elder, did you see it clearly? Zhao Kong also raised his head to look at the sky. He did not dodge because he was together with Long Fei, so he wasn't worried. However, when he sensed the incomparably tyrannical chi in the sky, his expression suddenly changed, and he said solemnly, Beast King question of God? He was very clear on this aura. The Beast King question of God was actually in the secret world under his arrangements, and it was also he who caused Long Fei's aura to cause the Beast King question of God to fly into a rage. It could be said that he was very familiar with the Beast King question of God. At this time, his mind was trembling slightly. His lips were trembling as he said, No, impossible, absolutely impossible. Rumble. In that instant, the Beast King question of God sat down on its butt, and half of the gigantic stage instantly collapsed. The martial arts arena's structure collapsed in an instant, and the entire floor cracked open, as a huge explosion resounded in the air, like 100,000 thunderclaps. What is that sound? Such a strong voice. It's the examinee's voice. Quickly go and see what happened. If even the tower question of God could sense it, one could imagine how intense it was. Beast King question of God, semi-god monster. His consciousness had already condensed the elementary form of a divine spark. This showed just how powerful it was, how powerful its aura was, coupled with its incomparably huge existence, caused all the demon beasts within 1,000,000 kilometers to crawl on the ground without daring to make a sound. This was a crushing defeat. This was strength. The people from Martial Arts Arena were all dumbstruck. Looking at this gigantic beast king question of God, they felt like they had seen a ghost. How was this brought out? This was brought out by Long Fei. Impossible. It was too shocking. How could you bring the Beast King question of God out of the secret world? Unless he was tamed. Subdue the semi-god monster? It was impossible, impossible. Zhao Kong's face was pale white, his body was trembling, and even speaking was somewhat strenuous, as he said, "Dragon, Long Fei, this was brought out by you?" Long Fei said, "Is that not possible?" Zhao Kong said solemnly, "I wanted you all to kill the beast question of God. Your result." Long Fei replied, "I'm hunting, but you didn't say that I'm hunting in the secret world. I can still hunt in the outside world. Moreover." Long Fei looked at the Beast King question of God and slightly reminded Zhao Kong, "He really doesn't like you." Being stared at by a semi-god monster felt very bad, very bad. Long Fei had been urinating in the secret world for 10 hours. He had personally experienced that feeling. The Beast King question of God kept staring at Zhao Kong. A look of contempt. Zhao Kong did not dare to raise his head, nor did he dare to look straight at him. His body trembled more and more. At this moment, the Beast King question of God coldly said, "I heard you made my boss very unhappy." Gudong. Zhao Kong swallowed his saliva and shivered. "Your boss is who is it?" The Beast King question of God's pupils shrank as the intimidating aura on its body intensified. With a berserk tone, it said, pretending to be confused with me. Chapter 1461, I'm not happy with you now. Chapter 1461, I'm not happy with you now. All right. Then I'll let you know how powerful I am. As soon as he finished, Zhao Kong was so scared that his face turned pale, and he knelt in front of Long Fei and said, I was wrong. I was wrong. Long Fei, I was wrong. I will never do it again. I beg you to spare my life. He was instantly scared to death. Zhao Kong did not have the slightest temper. What temper did he have facing the semi-god monster? Speaking of this Beast King question of God, that was so cool. Long Fei smiled slightly and said, You're wrong? What's the use of telling me? And Long Fei lowered his body and gently said, Now you know your wrongs? Too late. Finished. Long Fei took half a step back, and it was also at this moment the Beast King question of God suddenly moved and roared at Zhao Kong with all its might. Boom, boom, boom. An explosion sounded in the air, a thunderous roar that was as heavy as a thunderbolt. Zhao Kong's eyes bulged out, and in the end, it directly burst, causing blood to spurt out from his eardrums, his heart, organs, and his entire body to explode. He couldn't stop it at all. His power. It was all a mess. Long Fei's heart almost jumped out his chest when he saw this. If this was directed at him, he probably wouldn't be able to resist either. The strong will explode. Ha ha ha. He was extremely excited. He was really looking forward to it now. He absorbed the Beast King question of God's power and displayed the contract and abilities power. What kind of feeling was that? Long Fei really wanted to experience it for himself. The power of a demigod. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Zhao Kong for obtaining 39,000 experience, 3,400 holy source, and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the ancient spiritual artifact Spirit King Whip. It was instantly absorbed by the golden cudgel. The energy was filled to the 61st level. At the same time, Long Fei also looked at Zhao Kong's incomparably miserable death, shrugged, and said, This was not done by me. It has nothing to do with me. You all saw it clearly, right? Long Fei made an expression as if he was innocent. However, everyone knew that this Beast King question of God was Long Fei's war pet. But no one dared to speak. Who is Zhao Kong? The examiners kill him as soon as they say he would kill him, and completely crush him to smithereens. Who dares to have a temper? At this moment, the sky darkened and several figures descended. Looking at the incomparably huge Beast King question of God, one of the old man's face darkened as he asked, Why would the Beast King question of God appear here? Isn't it supposed to be guarding Rift's Soul Pass? Both of Kai Tiannan's eyes were filled with anger, but he did not care as he shouted loudly, Long Fei, you dare to attack an elder? You're courting death. In the midst of his rage, a strong, imposing manner heavily attacked Xiang Longfei. Longfei stood in place without moving and only gave a cold laugh. Just as the pressure was about to crush Xiang Longfei, the Beast King Question of God raised its hand and clapped. Pop! It was as easy as wiping out a soap bubble, and in an instant, it completely crushed the pressure Kai Tianan released, and in that instant too, Kai Tianan suffered a strong backlash. He spat out a mouthful of blood. Wow! Long Fei became excited. Semi-realistic realm is truly mighty. When one reached even a tiny bit of that realm, it would be like turning the heavens upside down. The difference between a peak powerhouse like Kai Tianan and a semi-realistic realm will be like 1,000 miles, an insurmountable existence. Kai Tianan's eyes were filled with anger. He shouted out, "Bastard, you dare attack me?" The Beast King Question of God glanced at it with both eyes and said disdainfully, "Little bastard, what happened to you? Who do you think you are?" He did not place Kai Tianan in his eyes at all. So fierce, so cool. The second elder of the Tower Question of God, an existence at the peak of powerhouse. However, so what? In front of the half-god powerhouse, he was nothing. Be it man or demon beast, it would be the same. As long as you were strong enough, you could crush everything. Beast King Question of God was the same. He actually submitted to Long Fei, and he would protect Long Fei with all his strength. Moreover, he could see a lot of things from Long Fei's body that made him excited. Kai Tianan was completely speechless from the pressure of the Beast King Question of God. His cultivation level was not high enough at all. Good, good, good. If you dare to be powerless to me, then you will never be able to return to the Tower Question of Goddess. You, Kai Tianan said angrily. The Beast King Question of God said disdainfully, "I don't want to go back." Wait, don't. The other elders became anxious. The Rift Soul Pass was a very important place to the Tower Question of God, and it had to be protected by the powerhouse. Furthermore, no one was willing to go to that place, and only the Beast King Question of God could go. We can discuss it if we have something to say. Don't use battle chi. I just want to know who brought the Beast King Question of God to the secret world. If the Tower Lord finds out about this. An elder looked at Kai Tianan. Kai Tianan's expression also darkened, but he was not afraid. He coldly said, "Why are you looking at me like that? I am not an examiner. How would I know who brought Beast King Question of God to secret world? What do we do with Long Fei now? Killing an elder and ignoring the rules of a Tower Question of God. Such a person should be killed without question." Kai Tianan's target was Long Fei. As long as he could kill Long Fei, everything would be fine. Long Fei laughed. "Second clan elder, I don't like hearing you say this. What do you mean by killing an elder? Did I kill him? Are you blind?" The Beast King Question of God said, "I was the one who killed him. I see that he is unhappy. I just want to kill him. That's surnamed Kai. How do you want to kill him? Do you want to kill me? I'm telling you, don't make me unhappy. Otherwise, you will die an even more miserable death than he does. Do you believe me?" He did not give any face at all. When had Kai Tianan ever done this before? Even the Tower Lord of the Tower Question of God would not dare to speak to him in such a manner. However, it couldn't be unleashed. He was not a match for the Beast King Question of God at all. Cluck, cluck. How preposterous. Kai Tianan's gaze sank and said, "He called you boss and said that everything he has done was at your instigation. Long Fei, do you still have any excuses?" Kai Tianan was like a mad dog, biting into Long Fei and refusing to let go. If he couldn't get the Beast King Question of God, could he not control Long Fei? This time, they were going to kill Long Fei. He could even subdue Beast King Question of God. If this goes on, this brat would really turn the tables. Long Fei sneered and said, "You won't let me go until you bite me, right?" Then, Long Fei glanced at the Beast King Question of God. The Beast King Question of God stared coldly at Kai Tianan and said, "I don't feel too good looking at you now." As soon as his voice faded, the entire audience went silent. It instantly crushed the entire audience. Chapter 1462, God's War Beasts. Chapter 1462, God's war beasts, both of his eyes were like lanterns, staring straight at Kai Tianan. I don't like you anymore. The voice of the beast king question of God pierced through everything and directly exploded in Kai Tianan's sea of consciousness. His face turned pale. Long Fei sneered. Second Elder, do you want to kill me? Come on, try moving me. The beast king question of God disdainfully said, You want to make a move? Two voices sounded out. Kai Tianan was crushed like he had exploded. If he were to make a move, the beast king question of God would kill him with a single palm. He would not be able to live at all. Both of his eyes stared straight at Long Fei as he said solemnly, Long Fei, the things today will not end like this. Just you wait. Long Fei laughed. What are you waiting for? Let's settle the accounts now. The beast king question of God said, Yes, even now we are clear. Kai Tianan swung his sleeves, coldly snorted, and said, Bastard, you just wait for me too. Not waiting for him to finish. The eyes of the beast king question of God changed. The air exploded with a sound, and it bellowed out, Rumble. The pressure was like thunder, striking onto Kai Tianan's body. He did not have time to react, and his body sank down, falling down like a dog eating shit, in an incomparably sorry state. The beast king question of God took a step forward, looked down at the ant-like Kai Tianan from above, and said, Little bastard, your grandfather wasn't even born when this daddy used the semi-realistic realm, and you dare to clamor in front of me? Huh. Rumble, rumble. A voice and a layer of pressure completely crushed Kai Tianan. Kai Tianan was so scared that he almost peed his pants, and his body was trembling. He felt this kind of semi-divine pressure, and it was too uncomfortable. He didn't dare to say a single word more. It was also at this time. The other elders immediately tried to persuade him. Lord Beast King, don't be angry. Elder Kai is also a straightforward person. You'd better not lower yourself to him. Long Fei smiled slightly. Give me Long Fei face. Let him live like a dog. Kai Tianan was just a dog. There was no use in killing him. On the contrary, it would bring him unnecessary trouble. After all, he was the second elder of the Tower Question of God, and was also a symbol of the Tower Question of God. The Beast King Question of God snorted, and said, Scram, if you dare hoot in front of me again, I'll kill you. As if he had received an amnesty, Kai Tianan ran out of the room. He did not dare to linger at all, and did not dare to speak even half a word. Don't go. The Beast King Question of God was instantly enraged. Kai Tianan was so scared that he immediately ran back to the Tower Question of God. Bullshit. He would be traumatized for the rest of his life. Once Kai Tianan left, a few elders came over to Long Fei's side laughing. They were all elders of the Tower Question of Goddess, and they had to take responsibility for the matter of the Beast King Question of God leaving the Rift Soul Pass. He had to get it back. Lil Bro Long, shall we discuss it? An elder beamed. Long Fei said, What do you want to discuss? What's there to discuss? He thought to himself, Talk to me, that depends on how much oil you have. Another elder said, Brother Long, you should also know that the Beast King Question of God is the Rift Soul Pass's guardian. If he does not protect the Rift Soul Pass, I am worried that many monsters and monsters will escape. If this were to happen, the Chaos Realm would definitely fall into chaos once again. So please focus on the big picture and let us bring the Beast King Question of God back to the Rift Soul Pass. Rift Soul Pass, the place where the demonic beasts were suppressed. Hearing this, Nangong Yan's gaze tensed up. That was one of her ideas. If something were to happen to this place, then Chaos Realm would really do as he said, and would definitely fall into a storm of blood. These evil spirits were extremely cruel. Long Fei did not answer, but rather, the idea asked the Beast King Question of God. Do you want to go back? Nothing else mattered. The will of the Beast King Question of God was the most important thing. Even if Long Fei needed him to cultivate the fitted soul, but Long Fei still respected his decision. The Beast King Question of God was silent for a moment, and then said, Rift Soul Pass does indeed need me to guard them. Otherwise, there might be trouble. This was the mission given to him by the powerhouse who created him. Moreover, at that time, he also swore that he would definitely protect this evil demon. Long Fei nodded and said, "Understood." And then, Long Fei acted as though he was in a difficult situation and said, "Clan Elder, the Rift Soul Pass has nothing to do with me, and it is not my responsibility either. The Beast King Question of God has come out with great difficulty. He does not want to go back either." The Beast King Question of God did not speak. If Long Fei didn't let him go back, he would also agree. The elder looked at the Beast King Question of God and said, "Big Brother Long, the bigger picture is more important." Long Fei said, "I don't know the big picture. If it wasn't for the Beast King Question of God, I wouldn't have been able to protect my life. How about this? This is a Beast Master holy artifact. Treat it as a greeting gift from me. From today onwards, Beast Control Hall will definitely help you." An elder would usually be able to see through a Beast Master holy artifact. Long Fei stared at him and bellowed, "Who do you think I am? I really don't like this kind of trash." He said that he did not think much of them, but Long Fei had taken them all in. The Beast King Question of God suddenly spoke out. "It was Boss who saved me. Otherwise, I would still be inside the secret world. If you want me to return, then take out some sincerity." Good brother. Long Fei couldn't help but praise him in his heart. The faces of the few elders darkened. If the Beast King Question of God did not return, they would have no way of knowing. Moreover, if something were to happen to the Rift Soul Pass, they wouldn't be able to take responsibility. Gritting his teeth, an elder walked forward and said, "Little Brother Long, this is a divine beast soul. It can fuse with any war pet and increase your strength rapidly." Not waiting for him to finish, Long Fei had already received it. The Beast King Question of God said, "Sincerity, do you understand?" The few elders were on the verge of tears. An elder said, "This is a Beast Master Ball. Inside it is a divine beast. When the idea moves a bit, it will be thrown out, and it will explode out from the ball." Long Fei took it. The Beast King Question of God disdainfully replied, "It looks like you guys don't want me to go back. That's fine too. I don't want to go back to that damn place either. Boss, let's go." Long Fei couldn't help but feel touched. This Beast King Question of God was too good. He sold himself and even helped the boss count the money. He had to say it. Beast King Question of Goddess were enough to be brothers. Moreover, was he trying to sell himself? Not really. The few clan elders were on the verge of tears. They really did not have much things on them. And just when the Beast King Question of God was about to leave with Long Fei, an elder said, "I'm going all out. Little Brother Long, this is a God's War Beasts." Chapter 1463, Relax, He Can't Live. Chapter 1463, Relax, He Can't Live. They were forced into a corner. If they couldn't bring the Beast King Question of God back to the Rift Soul Pass to guard the demons, they would have to go to a place the ghosts wouldn't be willing to guard. That place is really not a place for people. He could only bear with it. An elder placed a space ring that he was extremely unwilling to part with in a Long Fei's hands, and said, "Inside this is a God's War Beasts. Although his level is not as high as a Beast King Question of God, he will definitely not disappoint you." When the Beast King Question of God heard the 3 words God's War Beasts, it immediately linked the idea to Long Fei and said, "Clerk, this is a fierce fellow. Even though his cultivation isn't as high as mine right now, his potential is much stronger than mine. This is a fierce beast that the ancient God Temple bestowed to the Beast Control Hall. He is known as the God's War Beasts. This guy is extremely fierce. He will definitely be able to help you even more." The Beast King Question of God said. He was very excited. Long Fei said, "No matter how strong he is or how fierce he is, in my heart, you will always be first." These words caused the Beast King Question of God to be moved to a complete mess. Long Fei kept the God's War Beasts and said, "The Beast King Question of God can go back with you, but you must allow me to go see him. He is not my beast, but my brother." The word brother moved the Beast King Question of God's heart yet again. An elder frowned and said, "About that, Long Fei, you should also be aware that we are in the Tower Question of Goddess. You are currently in the assessment grounds, and not the disciples of our tower question of God. So what do you think? If you can smoothly pass the examination and become a member of the tower question of God, we can let you meet the beast king question of God freely. The other elders' expressions changed, wanting to stop him, but the elders stared back at them. What kind of place was the rift's soul pass? The demon god's land was locked up and absolutely must not be allowed to be approached by anyone. If something happened, the consequences would be unimaginable. Everyone in Beast Control Hall knew. Why would the clan elder agree to Long Fei's request? With Long Fei's current status, he did not have the qualifications to enter the Tower Question of God. If one could not enter the Tower Question of God, they would naturally not be able to enter the Rift's Soul Pass. Long Fei did not even think about it and said, "All right, it's settled then." Then, Long Fei walked to the side of the Beast King Question of God and said, "Brother, don't worry. I will definitely come and see you." The Beast King Question of God's tears were about to fall out of her eyes as she said, "Boss, I'll be waiting for you." The Beast King Question of God followed the Beast Control Hall's men and left. On the way, Elder Hai, how can you agree to his request? That his Rift Soul Pass, if we accidentally let out a few evil spirits, we would be dead. An elder could not help but ask. It was a place where strangers were not allowed to approach. It was an absolute forbidden ground of the Beast Control Hall. It was also the forbidden grounds of the Tower Question of God, and the Tower Question of God's responsibility was to deliver fresh blood to the ancient holy battlefield. Other than that, there was also an even more important mission, and that was to suppress the demons in the Chaos Realm. These evil demon gods were all supreme monsters left behind from the ancient times. They were not allowed to run out, and even more so, were not allowed to enter the ancient holy battlefield. What if Long Fei came to attack Rift Soul Pass and let them out? The consequences were incalculable. That's right, Elder Hai. You should also discuss this with us. If something happens, who will be able to bear the consequences? The several elders were somewhat reproachful. Elder Hai smiled faintly. What are you worried about? You all just wait and see. Long Fei will never be able to pass the examination, and since he can't pass, he will definitely not be able to enter the Rift Soul Pass. What are the consequences? Does he really think he's that great to be able to pass the exam? Keep dreaming him. It was extremely disdainful. It was not because he looked down on Long Fei, but because he knew just how strong Kai Tianan was. Passing the examination? It was good that he didn't die. When a few elders heard this, they all laughed. Haha, Elder Hai is considerate. This Long Fei brat is too arrogant and wild. He does not know how to restrain himself at all. You must know that this is the Tower Question of God, a disciple taking the examination who has no support and wants to fight against Clan Elder Kai. I really do not know what is going through his mind. None of our business. After squeezing so much out of us, I can't wait for him to die right now. Elder Hai sneered and said, "Don't worry, he will meet the king of hell soon. We can't even conquer the gods' war beasts and God's reward. Is it just him? He will definitely die from a slap from the gods' war beasts." Ha! Ha ha! The elders laughed out loud. The heaven martial beast was indeed powerful. However, since the Lord had bestowed it to them, they were unable to subdue it, let alone use it to fight. They were the peak beast trainer in this world. If they could not conquer the war beasts, then no one could. To Long Fei, the god's war beast was not a strong war beast, but a huge danger. Even the Beast King Question of God did not know about this. Long Fei was even more clueless. Tower Question of God. How dare you? He actually used the Beast King Question of God to kill the elder. He must have eaten a bear heart leopard's guts. A white-haired, golden-furred old man, whose body was covered with golden ripples, shouted in a flustered and exasperated manner. Tower Question of God Great Clan Elder, Yin Tianluo. His nickname was Live Hades. Furthermore, he was a divine beast and was also at the peak of the semi-god realm. His cultivation was incomparably powerful. Kaitanan said, "Great Clan Elder, if he were to continue acting so arrogantly, his tail might even reach the sky." Yin Tianluo frowned slightly and said faintly, I will take care of this matter, but what about the Beast King question of Goddess? How can the Beast King guarding the Rift's soul pass be allowed to enter the secret world? If something were to happen to the Rift's soul pass, who will bear the consequences? Kai Tianan immediately lowered his head, not daring to speak. He had secretly ordered Zhao Kong to do this. He originally wanted to have the Beast King question of God kill Long Fei, but he did not expect it to be conquered by Long Fei. Right, Yan Tianluo said, what happened during this period of time can't be told to Zhang Wushuang. And also, the matter of his uncle Zhang home to being killed by Long Fei can't be told to anyone either. Right now, he has reached the stage of breaking through all 80, so nothing can disturb him. Wait for him to break through the 80th level first. Kai Tianan replied, understood. The tower question of God's 80th floor was a barrier. It was a very important checkpoint. Breaking through the 80th level was equivalent to stepping into ancient holy battlefield. At this time, Zhang Wushuang absolutely could not be disturbed. Long Fei's residents looked at the space ring in his hands. God's War Beasts. Take a look at what level of beast it is. Chapter 1464, Breaking Through 80. Chapter 1464, Breaking Through 80. Fitted soul had to be cultivated. The appearance of the Beast King question of God made Long Fei even more determined to cultivate the fitted soul. He left. However, he actually did not leave. He was still Long Fei's war pet. As long as Long Fei needed it, he could rush over immediately. Long Fei was not stupid. How could he let such a strong boss fighter go just like that? In the semi-realistic realm, allowed Long Fei to go on a rampage. The reason they let the Beast King question of God go was for the future. Rift's soul pass. Huff. Long Fei moved the space ring and said faintly, come out, God's War Beasts. Buzz. The idea entered the ring, wanted to wake up the huge being inside, but the God's War Beasts birds didn't even look at Long Fei, nor did they open their eyes. Damn, what arrogance! Long Fei was a little displeased, and said, my semi-realistic realm's Beast King question of God have already been knocked down, and I still can't deal with you. The idea moved again. Buzz. The huge monster within the space ring still did not move, and still did not pay any attention to anything else. This made him unhappy. You're not giving me face, right? Long Fei's idea went berserk, exploding right in the middle of the space ring. Unmoved, very calm, it did not care about Long Fei's summons at all, and did not give him any face at all. F***CK. Long Fei cursed out and roared, you F***cur. Are you that bad? Fine, I don't believe it. Immediately, Long Fei was enraged. His idea carried the heaven-decimating sword and rushed into the midst of the space ring, slashing down at the huge monster. At this moment, rumble, an ear-piercing buzz sounded. The God's War Beast moved, standing up abruptly, its huge body releasing an intense pressure like that of thunder. Boom, boom, boom. Time and time again, he struck Long Fei's idea. In less than half a second, Long Fei's idea was shattered. His real face's body sank. Spitting out a mouthful of blood, his face was pale white. The idea was crushed. Long Fei's sea of consciousness suffered a heavy injury, but his heart was filled with rage. It was also at this moment. Rumble. With an explosion in the sky, the God's War Beasts fiercely rushed out of the storage ring. It stared coldly at Long Fei and disdainfully said, I'm warning you. Do not disturb my sleep. If not, I'll kill you. He was exceptionally valiant. It was even more tyrannical than the Beast King question of God. The contempt and scorn in his eyes simply did not put Long Fei in his eyes. Moreover, his voice was filled with boundless killing intent, extremely intense. Long Fei was completely suppressed and could not even move. Humph! With a cold snort, the God's War Beasts returned to the ring in the blink of an eye. They even ignored Long Fei, and even ruthlessly despised Long Fei. This, endure. The pressure from the God's War Beasts disappeared, and Long Fei recovered back to normal. He immediately shouted, If I get despised by a demon beast like you, how am I supposed to survive in the future? You bastard, come out. The gods war beasts ignored him. However, at this time, the sleeping beauty giggled and said, he won't care about you. If you enrage him again, he really will kill you. You're still laughing? What background does this guy have? How could he have such a big temper? Long Fei's heart was engulfed in a ball of fire. He had even wanted to properly cultivate the fitted soul, but he didn't think that he would be able to get someone even more arrogant than him. The sleeping beauty said, he should be a kind of demon beast on the ancient holy battlefield. This kind of demon beast might not be much in the ancient holy battlefield, but it should be an extremely terrifying existence. Just like the Beast King question of God said, his current level might not have reached the semi-realistic realm, but his potential is to have the chance to become a god and cultivate a divine spark. It's hard to subdue him. Long Fei said, is it very difficult? How hard is it? I have already conquered the Beast King question of God of the semi-realistic realm, but I am still unable to conquer him. Don't piss me off, or else I will really go crazy. Sleeping Beauty said, he is different from Beast King question of God. He is disdainful of any powerhouse on this plane. He is a war beast of ancient holy battlefield. He has a prideful self-esteem that other war beasts cannot compare to. He will never surrender, even if he is crushed by martial force. It's useless, but I have an idea. Had already experienced that there was nothing Sleeping Beauty couldn't do. Long Fei immediately asked, sister, stop beating around the bush and tell me quickly. The Sleeping Beauty said, follow me to cultivate the beast mastery. It's that simple. Long Fei was startled. If the beast mastery was useful, then what can the elders of the Beast Control Hall do about the Heaven Martial Beast? Furthermore, Long Fei could tell from the Heaven Martial Beast gaze, if anyone used beast mastery on him, he would definitely go crazy. The reason why he did not attack Long Fei was because of this. Once this guy went berserk, the scene would definitely be much more brutal than the Beast King question of God. He was a true beast that had fought in the ancient holy battlefield before. The Sleeping Beauty giggled and said, it's that simple. My beast mastery is different from the beast mastery of this world. It can control gigantic beasts that you cannot even imagine. The Sleeping Beauty smiled happily. All right, I'll learn from you. Long Fei did not hesitate. The moment the idea moved, it immediately said, you're a god's war beasts, right? Just you wait. I don't believe that I can't get rid of you. Zhao Kong was crushed, so the position of the examiners was not set yet. This made the examination come to a standstill. This also gave Long Fei more time to train beast mastery with the Sleeping Beauty. The reason why the examination stopped was because everyone in the Tower Question of God, including those saint high in the hand, were paying attention to one person, Zhan Wushuang. In just a few short days, his speed was like flying. Now it was a critical moment. The 79th level. Rumble, rumble, rumble. The 5 elements took turns to attack. The overwhelming power of the 5 elements Saint struck toward Zhan Wushuang, but Zhan Wushuang remained unmoving, the energy in his entire body forming numerous vortexes. The moment the 5 elements Saint attacked, the seemingly ordinary longsword in his hand released a golden light. Zhang Xian's eyes twitched. His strength had increased explosively. A sword struck out. Sword god break. One sword, one move. Very ordinary. However, the energy contained within it was something only the 5 elements Saint could understand. In that instant, the energy of the 5 elements suddenly came to a halt and was instantly destroyed. The 5 elements Saint flew out explosively. At this moment, a large door in the sky slowly opened, and with the spiritual energy of the god power, it began to move. The 5 elements Saint smiled and said, congratulations, you have passed the 79th floor. Rumble. The Tower Question of God was greatly shocked. Countless elders were excited. Too powerful. The number 1 person in history. An existence that no one can compare to. Kai Tianan laughed excitedly. Now you can tell him, right? Long Fei, let's see how you withstand Zhan Wushuang's attacks, Chapter 1465, He's About to Die. Chapter 1465, He's About to Die. Ding. Secret Technique, Beast Mastery Proficiency, plus 2 points. Ding. Secret Technique, Beast Mastery Proficiency, plus 2 points. The system beep did not stop. Long Fei had not left her side these few days and continued to cultivate the beast mastery that the Sleeping Beauty had taught him nonstop. He wanted to finish cultivating the beast mastery as soon as possible and then defeat that powerful god's war beasts. Let's see how he dares to be arrogant. Continue. When the cooldown came to an end, Long Fei would instantly use it on a tree. The beast mastery was meant for demon beast, but the beast mastery that Long Fei cultivated was a secret technique that even trees could be released. A plum tree in the courtyard was easily taken away by Long Fei. Ding. Secret Technique, Beast Mastery Proficiency, plus 2 points. From day to night, from night to day, Long Fei did not stop. Early morning, Long Fei washed his face and rinsed his mouth, preparing to start cultivating the beast mastery again. At this time, the courtyard door was pushed open, and Yi Jingyun hastily ran in. Looking at the calm and composed Long Fei, he anxiously asked, "Young Master Long, how can you be so calm?" "Huh?" Long Fei asked curiously, "What's wrong? Should I be flustered?" Yi Jingyun looked at Long Fei's expression and said in shock, "You still don't know?" Long Fei asked, "What do you know?" Yi Jingyun said, "Yesterday, Zhan Wushuang broke through the 80th floor of the Tower Question of God. This matter spread across the entire Tower Question of God in an instant, and everyone was enthusiastically discussing it. This kind of talent and potential could be said to have never appeared before in the history of the Tower Question of God. Too sharp. The Tower Question of God at the 80th floor meant that he already had 1 foot in the ancient holy battlefield. Perhaps he could even reverse fate. Long Fei was also slightly shocked in his heart. 80 levels. Yi Jingyun said, even the 5 elements saint was defeated by Zhan Wushuang. It must be known that the 5 elements are too powerful. Ordinary people cannot withstand it. Long Fei said, Zhan Wushuang still has some skill after all. Yi Jingyun looked at Long Fei, who still had a calm face, and said, Young Master Long, why aren't you in a hurry? When Yi Jingyun broke through the 80th floor, the entire Tower Question of God followed his lead. He definitely will not let you off, but I saw that the Tower Question of God examination was over, so we just gave up on it. Let's leave this place today. At this moment, Nangong Yin also walked in and said, Yi Jingyun is right. We will leave right now. She was even more clear on what it meant to be a Tower Question of God at the 82nd level. Zhan Wushuang's potential, talent, and strength were all too strong. Furthermore, the current elders of the Tower Question of God S, as well as the Saint S, were all on one side. So no matter what Zhan Wushuang did, or what he wanted to do, they would all stand on his side. In other words, Long Fei was extremely dangerous here. Nangong Yin grabbed Long Fei's arm and said, Let's leave this place. We're not taking the exam. I give up too. Yi Jingyun said, Young Master Long, let's go. There are definitely places in this world that he can't find. They were worried about Long Fei. Right now, Zhan Wushuang had too much power. Long Fei looked at them and said, Are you all that afraid of Zhan Wushuang? Yi Jingyun said, What do you mean we are afraid? Everyone is scared. Right now, Zhan Wushuang is the darling of the Tower Question of God. We do not need him to personally do anything. Young Master Long, let's go. They were not worried about themselves, but more importantly, they were worried about Long Fei. Moreover, they also knew that Long Fei had killed 9 secret warrior families Zhan Hong to, and that's uncle wasn't going to take revenge. Then he's not called Zhan Wushuang. Nangong Yin said, Long Fei, I know your potential is higher than Zhan Wushuang's, but we are only eggs now, and he is a giant rock. Long Fei laughed and said, Thank you for your worries. Don't worry. No one can stop me. Long Fei, from what I want to do, no one can. You can go back. Cultivate properly. Don't worry about these things. Yi Jingyun still wanted to say something, but was pushed away by Long Fei and said, Cultivate properly. don't manage these matters. Nangong Yin said, right now, the entire assessment department is talking about when you were killed by Zhang Wushuang, and there are even some who made bets, saying that you won't live past 3 days. Long Fei, just listen to my advice. The current Zhang Wushuang is no longer the young master of the Hell Gate. He possesses an unimaginably powerful strength. Long Fei also pushed her out and said with a slight smile, don't worry, I'll definitely be fine. Clang! The courtyard door was closed. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly, and a ferocious beast appeared between his eyebrows. Tower question of God, level 80. Huff! Long Fei looked like he did not care about it at all, not really caring about it. However, the moment he heard this news, an inexplicable strong pressure came crushing down from the bottom of his heart. It was very uncomfortable. The Tower question of God were extremely strict with regards to the disciple examination. It was impossible for them to go easy, and it was also impossible for them to cheat. So Zhang Wushuang had used his own true strength to fight his way up. The 80th level. It could be said that this was an astonishing level of power. A powerful force. Right now, Long Fei had already broken through the 80th level without even going in the Tower question of Goddess. This was a huge difference. It had to be said that Long Fei felt a strong pressure. The scene of their first meeting was still fresh in his mind. The feeling of the huge gap between their cultivations, the feeling of not being able to lock onto even the main gun. Long Fei was extremely unhappy with her tears. Bring it on. Zhang Wushuang, Long Fei shouted in his heart, and a strong will burst out, just like a wild beast ready to fight, and a bloodthirsty fighting spirit. Long Fei clenched his fists tightly again. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for training and upgrading his beast mastery. Ding! Ding! Long Fei trained even more frantically. Other than the beast mastery, Long Fei was also continuously upgrading his light speed sword, the pure Lotus Demon Fire. All sorts of cultivation techniques and skills were needed for him to be at his peak condition at any time and anywhere. He wanted to fight Zhang Wushuang. In another place, Tower question of God, 57th floor. Zhang Wushuang stood in front of Xinyuan Lier. Xinyuan Lier sat cross-legged with her eyes closed. She was cultivating and did not look at Zhang Wushuang once. After a long time, Zhang Wushuang said, Lier, I've broken through the 80th level. Do you have nothing to say? Xinyuan Lier did not open his eyes and coldly said, Congratulations. The cold expression on his face made Zhang Wushuang feel extremely displeased. The anger in his heart surged, and the corners of his eyes twitched. He really wanted to slap Xinyuan Lier and vent his anger, but he didn't. Previously, he was worried that Xinyuan Lier would leave, but now he didn't. Zhang Wushuang sneered coldly and said, Did you know that Long Fei is still alive? However, he's going to die soon. Chapter 1466, Bro's Good Skill at Flirting. Chapter 1466, Bro's good skill at flirting. Xinyuan Lier's eyes suddenly opened wide. But right at this moment, Zhang Wushuang's figure slowly disappeared, and his ice-cold smile still reverberated amongst the 56 God's Tower S. Ha-ha. Lier, you will never see Long Fei again. Ha-ha. Xinyuan Lier said. Zhang Wushuang, what did you say just now? Is Big Brother Long Fei still alive? Say it clearly. Still alive. Big Brother Long Fei is still alive. Suddenly, Big Brother Long Fei is still alive. He's still alive. Fate has not died yet. I knew it. I knew it wouldn't be that easy for him to die. Then, she thought about what Zhang Wushuang had said and was stunned. No. I can't let Zhang Wushuang touch Big Brother Long Fei again. I want to get out. I want to get out. The saint sitting on the 56th floor said lightly, You are currently inside a God's tower. You cannot leave. Xinyuan Lier said without any hesitation, I give up. The reason why she entered the Tower question of God was to help Long Fei take revenge. Now that Long Fei was still alive, she didn't want to enter any more ancient holy battlefield. She wanted to find Long Fei. The saint on the 56th floor was slightly angered as he said, "What kind of place do you think a tower question of God is? Is it a place where you can leave whenever you want, or come to just like that?" Xin Yuan Lier said, "I give up. I won't fight anymore. Clan elder, please let me out." "How dare you?" The saint was enraged and shouted, "This is a tower question of God, not a house. Xin Yuan Lier, if you want to leave this place, that is fine too. But if you want to break through a tower question of God, you can choose not to enter the ancient holy battlefield." "You? Can you break it?" Xin Yuan Lier was startled. Her profound spirit chi moved suddenly and said, "Clan elder, I made my move. Chua." One sword for 10,000 shadows, as ethereal as an immortal. This sword was abnormally sharp. Saint's expression changed slightly as she thought in her heart. As expected, Zhan Wushuang is right. Her potential has yet to be fully unleashed. Ding! Secret technique, Beast Mastery Proficiency +2 points. Ding! Congratulations to the player Long Fei for leveling up. The current Beast Mastery is level 9. Huff! Long Fei let out a long breath. "Sister, is it okay now?" 5 days and 5 nights without rest. Long Fei continuously trained. He was about to become a madman due to the Beast Mastery. It was truly unbearable, and the plum tree in front of him also started to wither. It was as though his entire body was hollowed out. The Sleeping Beauty yawned. She would never wake up from her sleep, and said, "It's not enough to only have a level 9 Beast Mastery. I let you practice with that plum tree in front of you. I'll let you summon it." "What did you say?" Long Fei was confused. "You want me to summon the plum tree in my own war pet?" Continuous. However, he had never succeeded even once when he reached the 9th level from the 1st level. Not once. A tree. How could it be summoned into a war pet? No matter how powerful the Beast Mastery was, it could not do this, right? It was to control beasts, not trees. The Sleeping Beauty giggled and said, "The Beast Mastery that I am going to teach you is naturally different from ordinary Beast Mastery. You're going to use your idea to fuse and fuse with it, to cause the idea between you to resonate and connect together. Obviously, you have never thought about the feeling of this plum tree when you were training with it." Long Fei. "Sis, he's a tree. How do I know how he feels?" "If you have the guts, then make him speak to me." The Sleeping Beauty said, "She is a beautiful plum tree. Whether or not you can communicate with her is up to you. If you can summon her, I will teach you the ultimate profoundness of the Beast Mastery. When that time comes, you will definitely be able to summon your god's war beasts." Master, I think highly of you." Long Fei felt extremely bitter in his heart. He thought that he could start attacking the god's war beasts once he reached level 9, but now he was going to conquer a tree. Too bitter. Long Fei looked at the plum tree and said, "Sister, how about we have an exchange? How old are you? What do you like to eat? How many plums do you pick every year? What kind of man do you like?" If someone were to speak further, they would definitely think that Long Fei had gone crazy because he was blabbering non-stop into a tree. For a full day, Long Fei was unable to find any methods. His mind was blank. At this moment, the Sleeping Beauty was lying on her side, sleeping soundly. Long Fei was incomparably depressed. "I'm about to go crazy. I'm really going crazy." But now, he had no choice but to do as the Sleeping Beauty said, because he needed to unleash the power of the fitted soul. He desperately needed it. As long as he grasped the fitted soul, he would possess the strength of a god's war beasts, and he would be able to stay in an invincible realm. Huff! Long Fei once again began to communicate frantically, constantly trying to seduce and communicate with each other, thinking of her as a beautiful woman, gentle and gentle, caressing, just a little bit more than finding a tree whole and slapping it. Another day and night passed. It was unknown if it was because of Long Fei's communication or something else, but that plum tree actually started to radiate with new life, as if it was nourished by love. A new life. Long Fei secretly thought, "This plum tree really wants to mature." Immediately, Long Fei slightly said, "Come, Let me succeed once. The idea moved. With a wave of the beast mastery, the idea moved and entered a state of emptiness. Buzz. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for successfully activating beast mastery. Ding. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the war pet plum tree. A plum tree appeared in Long Fei's mind. He was unsure if he should be happy or cry. The plum tree can actually become a war pet? I'm really convinced. He couldn't be unconvinced. The Sleeping Beauty giggled. Master, I knew you would definitely succeed. Long Fei laughed bitterly and said, That's true. Big Brother's flirting skills are superb. The Sleeping Beauty smiled even more happily and said, It's a man. Long Fei was suddenly speechless. A wave of disgust. And one of his beauties, but it was a fake mother. Furthermore, she was a Scrooge after taking off her thick makeup. How unlucky was she? Long Fei wanted to die. However, he finally succeeded. There was only one last step left. Gods War Beasts. Long Fei said slightly. Now, you can pass the ultimate profound meaning to me, right? The Sleeping Beauty laughed. All right, now I'll teach you the true meaning of the beast mastery. You have to listen carefully. This is a secret technique from the ancient times. Chapter 1467 was just one question. Did he submit or not? Chapter 1467 was just one question. Did he submit or not? The Sleeping Beauty's consciousness exploded in Long Fei's mind. Long Fei entered a state of oblivion as he crazily absorbed the profound mysteries that the Sleeping Beauty had passed on to him. My lord, are you still not making your move? Kai Tianan said faintly, her body naked. Right now, he wished he could destroy Long Fei, causing Long Fei to perish like smoke in the wind. Zhan Wushuang gave a cold laugh and said, No rush. In the past few days, he had been preparing, but at the same time, he did not even look at Long Fei because he did not want Xianyuan Lier to find out that he was still alive. However, but now that he looked at it, Xianyuan Lier felt that it was actually a type of thrill. In just 2 short days, Xianyuan Lier had consecutively broken through all 3 levels of cultivation and immediately entered the 60 levels of God's Tower. Long Fei became Xianyuan Lier's motivation. It made Zhan Wushuang very unhappy in his heart, but at the same time, it made him excited. He liked Xianyuan Lier, and he needed the power from her even more. If he wanted to do another turn in ancient holy battlefield, he would need to obtain that power from Xianyuan Lier. Long Fei's death had become her inner demon. Now, with the inner demon slash, her potential exploded crazily, and her speed was even faster than Zhan Wushuang's. The same was already reassessing itself. At this time, a oracle walked into the hall and said, Sir, the assessment for the Saint group has been completed. Zhan Wushuang replied excitedly, Speak. Oracle said, 100 levels. Zhan Wushuang was slightly shocked by the result of the reassessment, and her heart tensed up. 100 levels? Junior sister Xianyuan, I have truly underestimated you. Your love for Long Fei has already sunk deep into your bones. I only said that he was still alive, and yet you revealed such great potential. All right, very good, if that's the case. Zhan Wushuang's eyes flashed with a sharp light. The light was extremely cold, with a strong killing intent. Zhan Wushuang slightly said, We can begin. Kai Tunin, who was at the side, laughed excitedly and said, Master, I'll go prepare now. Buzz, buzz, buzz. A buzzing sound continuously exploded out from within Long Fei's sea of consciousness. The powerful energy of his consciousness continued to expand, as if it was implanted into Long Fei's brain. A full 2 hours passed. Long Fei's eyes suddenly opened wide, and he exhaled deeply. Phew! His entire body was drenched in sweat. He was completely drenched. Long Fei said excitedly, Strong. She's really strong. Sis, your ultimate profound mystery is really strong to a ridiculous degree. When he was accepting the mysteries of the beast mastery, Long Fei saw a different world. A world that did not exist on this plane. The cultivation civilization there was countless times greater than on this plane. Even Long Fei believed that those extremely powerful fellows of the main temple were not even comparable to the ordinary warriors of that world. Is that the primordial god realm? Long Fei asked softly. The sleeping beauty did not answer, because she was asleep now. Are you really ancient god? Long Fei looked at the sleeping beauty's perfect figure, and his heart was filled with suspicion and confusion. Who the hell are you? Huff! No matter what you say, you are still my man. Long Fei gripped it tightly. Then, the idea entered the space ring and lowered her voice. God's war beasts, you bastard. Get the hell out here right now. Right now, even without any external help, Long Fei did not need to be afraid of the God's war beasts. The enormous being within the space ring did not have any reaction. Directly ignoring Long Fei's heart was filled with fire. He shouted again, I'm talking to you. Do you hear me? Get the hell out here. Let's see how you're still going to act so arrogantly today. Rumble. A loud sound came from the space ring. The gigantic God's war beast suddenly stood up, staring straight at Long Fei, who was inside the space ring. All the energy in its body burst out. Buzz! He directly crushed it to smithereens. The God's war beast let out a low growl and said, Little bastard, I warned you before, don't disturb my sleep. You won't listen, right? If you don't listen, then go to hell. God's war beast's temper was abnormally bad. They just started like that. This personality was similar to Long Fei's. As soon as he finished, the God's war beast rushed out, its gigantic body standing in mid-air. At this moment, everyone in the entire assessment department was shocked. What's that? What kind of monster is that demon beast? He's too strong. He doesn't even belong to this world's demon beast. The aura emitted from its body is completely different from the spirit energy of the Chaos Realm. It seems to be a lot stronger than Beast King Question of God. It's above Long Fei's courtyard. What is this kid doing? Do you want to burn yourself by playing with fire? Tower Question of God Beast Control Hall. Haha, the God's War Beasts is angry. That kid is dead for sure. Like I said, how can a trash like him control God's War Beasts? Now that you have angered it, that trash is dead for sure. Several elders of the Beast Control Hall all laughed proudly. At the same time, a few elders flew out from the Tower Question of God. They were here for Long Fei. The God's War Beast's eyes were filled with contempt as she stared at Long Fei and said, I gave you a chance, and you still want to provoke me? Then go and die. Extreme arrogance. There was no one in the Chaos Realm who was worthy of his interest. He is the God's War Beasts of the ancient holy battlefield. He owns the Heavenly King's blood vein. As a supreme existence, he disdained everything that happened in the lower realms. Furthermore, no one had the ability to control him, and no one had the qualifications to do so. Incomparable pride. Long Fei grinned and said, Die. Come if you dare. Don't worry. I will definitely not kill you. You're courting death. The moment the God's War Beast was angered, it suddenly released a huge amount of power. The cracks in the space all rushed towards Xiang Longfei, incomparably huge. The entire sky-piercing mountain range was trembling. It could be said, the power that he unleashed was even stronger than the Beast King Question of God. Although it was not semi-realistic realm, it was stronger than it. Long Fei became excited. Strong enough, I like it. Seeing such a powerful attack come at him, Long Fei was calm and composed, not worried in the slightest, and even had a slight sneer on his face. You're mine now. The idea moved. Secret technique. Beast Master Supreme Mystery. Godly. Swish. After releasing a surge of power, the million-point worth of Holy Source suddenly disappeared, and the power directly went through the burst of the Heaven Martial Battle Beast and entered into his sea of consciousness. Buzz. It exploded. In almost an instant, the God's War Beast was controlled by this divine control power. The God's War Beast's eyes turned sinister as it let out an angry roar. Little bastard, you dare. Not waiting for him to finish. Long Fei moved. Boom. The system sounded out. Ding. Chapter 1468, System Reward, God's Hammer. Chapter 1468, System Reward, God's Hammer. The system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for successfully controlling the beast. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining a special reward from the system for the new battlefield God's War Beasts. The reward is the item God's Hammer Beast. The system sounded out continuously. The moment the system beep sounded, the power released by it also disappeared in a flash. From start to finish, Long Fei had not moved an inch, because the success rate of beast mastery that the Sleeping Beauty had taught him. 100%. Just like that. It's just that the consumption is a little too much, and the consumption can reach 1,000,000 holy source. That's a little too much. God's War Beasts, keep it in your mouth. You want to be arrogant with me again? Come on, come on. Long Fei started to become complacent as he looked at the God's War Beast that was absorbed into the beast space. He was like that. They were initially mocked by the God's War Beasts, but now they were naturally mocked back. Although the God's War Beast was conquered by Long Fei, he didn't even know why he was conquered by Long Fei. Without another word, Long Fei immediately released the God's War Beasts and said, "So what if I let you out?" The God's War Beasts roared in anger. "Let me out, and it will be your death date." Boom! Roaring furiously, Zhang Xian felt as though his strength had exploded. However, without waiting for him to attack Long Fei moved and laughed. "You want to kill me? You can forget about it for the rest of your life." He directly took the God's War Beasts back into the War Pet space. The attack disappeared. Following that, Long Fei released the God's War Beasts and said, "I let you out again. Come and touch me." He had a complacent look on his face. Long Fei's expression was as despicable as it could be. "You're ignoring me? Now that your life is in my hands, I'll play whatever I want. I won't die playing with you." The God's War Beast was extremely angry and attacked again. Without waiting for his attack to fall, Long Fei moved and kept him inside the War Pet space, chuckling, "Come again, I won't be able to play with you." After saying that, she let him out. "Come again. Contempt me? I'm not happy with you. So what if it's a war beast from ancient holy battlefield? In front of me, even if you're a god, you have to kneel down, you understand?" The God's War Beast said solemnly, "Little bastard, I don't believe that I can't control you." Yet another force was taken back by Long Fei once again. Again and again, the God's War Beast was directly destroyed by Long Fei. Long Fei laughed complacently. "I'm just asking if you're convinced or not." "Unconvinced? Then let's continue." Long Fei laughed and continued to work for the entire afternoon. Long Fei enjoyed playing with the God's War Beasts. The Heaven Martial Battle Beast was beaten to death by Long Fei. He was completely unable to take care of himself. He had never been played like this before, even in the ancient holy battlefield. The God's War Beasts wanted to break through Long Fei's control, but not all. The control of the idea in Long Fei's sea of consciousness was something he simply could not do anything about. Divine Control Beast. This was no ordinary beast taming power. Are you convinced? I'm just asking if you're willing to accept it or not. Long Fei shouted. The God's War Beast was at its limit. If this carried on, he would be played to death, gasping for breath like a cow, and said, "I surrender. I surrender. I surrender. All right? Just take it." Long Fei knew that the God's War Beast was still unconvinced, but he said that it was fine, and then the idea moved and summoned the God's War Beast again. "We should have done that earlier. Why are you asking for trouble?" While they were talking, Long Fei took out the System Reward God's Hammer Beast and threw it onto the body of the God's War Beasts. "This is for you." The God's War Beast began to think little of it and said disdainfully, "What good stuff could there be in this low plane?" Very disdainful. However, when he picked up the God's Hammer, his eyes bulged, and his expression immediately became lifeless. He had a stupefied face and looked at the God's Hammer, willing to not hesitate to use his hands. This weapon. Wow, this. He was so excited that he was at a loss for words. This was exactly what he had done. The items rewarded by the system were especially poor, Long Fei said indifferently. A single weapon can make you this excited? He had no future. Follow this, bro, and I'll make sure to let you eat, and drink spicy food. You'll get whatever you want. Do you want to go back to the ancient holy battlefield? The God's War Beast was truly moved, because this weapon was truly extraordinary. Long Fei gifted it to it without thinking. This was not something that an ordinary person could do. If he did not give it to him, who else could Long Fei give it to? This was a weapon used by Demon Beast. He couldn't use it. When the God's War Beast heard Long Fei say, "Return to ancient holy battlefield," her eyes widened in shock, and she said, "If you can bring my ancient holy battlefield along, even if I have to work hard, I won't even furrow my brows." That's what I wanted to hear. Long Fei was overjoyed and said, "There is nothing that I, Long Fei, can't accomplish. I said that I will bring you to meet the ancient holy battlefield, so I will definitely bring you back." The God's War Beast was excited. The Chaos Realm was too meaningless to him. His God's War Beast was born for battle, and the ancient holy battlefield was their true home. He dreamt of meeting the ancient holy battlefield. However, those people from the Beast Control Hall always wanted to control him and keep him here. Long Fei was the first to say that he would bring him back to the ancient holy battlefield. While they were talking, the God's War Beast knelt on one knee, bowed deeply, and said with incomparable seriousness, "Boss, submit." He had truly submitted to Long Fei. In terms of the Fitted Souls fusion, the God's War Beast's submission allowed Long Fei to absorb 100% of his power, and she instantly absorbed the God's War Beast's power into her own. He had to be completely subservient to them. Long Fei smiled faintly and kept the God's War Beast in the War Pet space, thinking in his heart, "This is great. I can cultivate Fitted Soul now." In an instant, he absorbed all of the God's War Beast's power and instantly gained the God's War Beast's strength to crush everything. It was also at this time, at the courtyard door, Yi Jingyun rushed in anxiously and said, "Young Master Long, it's bad. It's bad. They're here. He's here." Long Fei's expression recovered. "What is it?" Yi Jingyun said, "Kai Tiannan is bringing a few clan elders and a large group of Oracle S over. The people who have come are not kind. Young Master Long, what do we do?" Long Fei said indifferently, "We will deal with it whenever we can. What are we afraid of?" Yi Jingyun said, "This time is different. I'm afraid this time Kai Tiannan will use real power, and the Beast King Question of God is not here. What are you going to use to resist him?" Long Fei smirked. "How can I block it? Is the God's War Beast enough?" Chapter 1469, Stunned. Chapter 1469, Stunned Long Fei. "Get the hell out here." A furious roar. The gate of the yard was kicked out with a bang, and the two pieces of door flew into the yard. At the gate, Kai Tiannan stepped in, followed by a large group of people, a few elders of the Tower Question of God, a large group of Oracle S, and finally, Feng Tian and the other examination disciples who were watching the show. "Ah, Long Fei, let's see how you escape today. He's dead for sure. Offending Patriarch Kai. How could he have any good results? It will be hard to escape death today." Many people started discussing. Feng Tian laughed complacently. "Long Fei, you dog, if you don't have a Beast King Question of God, how can you still be arrogant?" The Beast King Question of God is the demon beast of the semi-realistic realm, which meant that if he could crush Kai Tiannan, other people's words could not do it. The Beast King Question of God was not here, but Long Fei? There was no way to block it. Long Fei was slightly angered and sneered. "Clan Elder Kai, you destroyed my courtyard door, yet you brought so many people to barge into my courtyard. What are you trying to do?" Kai Tiannan sneered and stared at Long Fei. "What are you doing? I'll take your life." Long Fei acted as though he was shocked and said, "You want my life? Patriarch Kai, did you forget how terrible you looked just a few days ago when you pissed your pants? Last time, I gave you a chance. This time, if you dare to be cocky again, I will not be polite." Very arrogant. Not the slightest bit of fear. Kai Tiannan's eyes gushed with anger. He clenched his teeth and said, "Brat, You still dare to be arrogant. If I don't kill you today, I, Kai Tun Nan, will have the same surname as you. As soon as he finished, a few Oracle S suddenly moved, all rushing forward, surrounding Long Fei. Yi Jingyun stood beside Long Fei and said, Elder Kai, young Master Long is still an assessment disciple after all. Why do you have to make a move against him? What did he do wrong? Kai Tan Nan coldly looked at Yi Jingyun and said, Who do you think you are? Do you even have the qualifications to talk to me? Yi Jingyun's face darkened. Nan Gongyan also squeezed through the crowd and said, Clan Elder Kai, for no reason at all, you want to kill the disciples taking the examination. How do the people of the world view the tower question of God? Feng Tian laughed coldly and said, Long Fei disregards his elders, killing innocent people and even killing a few elders. Today, Clan Elder Kai cannot tolerate it anymore. Long Fei has brought this upon himself. The flattery was loud and clear. Kai Tunen laughed coldly and said, I don't need any reason to kill him. Do you know why? Because, Sir Wushuang, I will kill you. Do you understand? Kai Tianen sneered. He had already planned everything on the way here, with Long Fei's result at the bottom. This kind of person was destined to not be noticed by others, not by the Tower Lord. So if he died, he died. Moreover, with Zhan Wushuang's influence, no one dared to say anything. Kai Tianan's finger moved slightly and said coldly, Kill. As soon as he finished, 8 Oracle S suddenly attacked Xiang Longfei at the same time. Long Fei's eyes darkened. Kai Tianan, I think you are tired of living. Kai Tianan sneered and said, Little bastard, you must be tired of living. Long Fei's power exploded. Boom! With the sword of Destroy in his hand, he moved Shua. In a flash of lightning, an oracle was instantly killed. Lightspeed Sword had already been cultivated to the 2nd stage, and its speed was even faster. One of the Oracle S fell. The corner of Kai Tianan's mouth curled into a cold smile, and he said, Long Fei, I didn't have a reason to touch you just now. Take the examination, disciple Long Fei, and kill Oracle. According to the law of the Tower Question of God, you deserve to die for your crimes. Kill them all. Kai Tianan laughed. Long Fei, you are just a small ant. I can play however I want. Ha ha ha, that's great, isn't it? Of course, being humiliated, the anger in his heart never subsided. He had to take revenge. Killing Oracle was a heinous crime. Moreover, the clan elder following Kai Tianan was not any other clan elder, but an elder of the Law Enforcement Hall. No matter what, they had just witnessed Long Fei killing Oracle. The law enforcement elder of the Tower Question of God had personally witnessed it himself. This time, Kai Tianan was going to put Long Fei to death and would definitely not give him any chance to recover. This was Zhan Wushuang's method. Kai Tianan slightly said, Are the elders from the Law Enforcement Hall still not going to enforce the law? The 4 elders moved slightly, their bodies moving as fast as lightning, instantly standing in 4 different directions from Long Fei. One of them said, Long Fei, I advise you to surrender. Long Fei said, Since you are all together, then why do you need to find those reasons? You want my life? If you have the guts, come and get it. The faces of the 4 elders sank. How arrogant. Do you really take yourself seriously? In the blink of an eye, the 4 of them instantly moved. Their speed, strength, and cultivation were all many times higher than those of the Oracle S. Kai Tianan laughed complacently. Fight with me. I'll play with you until you die. Many of the surrounding disciples mocked him. Long Fei is too arrogant. This is good. The Law Enforcement Hall's elder has personally come. This time, even if he has wings, he can't escape. Serves you right. Under the pincer attack of 4 elders, he definitely won't be able to live. Trash should have died a long time ago. Many people began to mock him. Long Fei was the savior of their lives. No one was grateful. Right now, everyone wanted to show off their skills in front of Kai Tianan and ruthlessly stomp on him a few times. This was the human heart. The Law Enforcement Hall's elders were exceptionally powerful. The 4 of them working together had formed a strong pressure that completely suppressed Long Fei, causing him to be unable to breathe. Suppressed. Kai Tunan laughed proudly. Long Fei, what are you feeling so good about? Ha ha ha. A trash like you, who doesn't know the limits of the world, wants to flip the heavens? You want to fight against Lord Wushuang? Who do you think you are? He was very proud. He was extremely pleased with himself. It was simply too easy for the four law-enforcing elders to crush Long Fei. Kai Tianan didn't even need to do anything. At the same time, he did not have any form of defense. In this kind of situation, it was impossible for Long Fei to attack him. However, he didn't understand Long Fei at all. Aren't you proud of it? You like a laugh, right? Hee hee. Long Fei constantly noted the fluctuations in Kai Tianan's aura, and the moment his aura was about to recede, Long Fei fiercely roared loudly. Gods war beasts! Rumble! Roar! With a roar, the gods war beasts rushed out of the war pet space. In its hand was an incomparably large god's hammer. You are the arrogant one here, aren't you? I'll blast you to death. God's war beasts and Beast King Question of God were different. He was even more irritable. Moreover, he would not hold back. A single strike from the hammer would be all of his strength. At this moment, Kai Tianan was stupefied. Chapter 1470, Sky King Blastkill. Chapter 1470, Sky King Blastkill. His aura was sharper and his strength more powerful. The scene of the gods' war beasts cooperating with the god's hammer. He couldn't stop it at all. A hammer blow descended. Ah! Kai Tunan didn't have time to react and could only yell in fear, ah! Haji! The sound was as though a cockroach had been trampled to death. Fresh blood spurted out, and her body turned into a pile of minced meat. It was as though the entire world had quieted down. The four law-enforcing elders stopped. The surrounding oracle retreated a few steps. The faces of the spectators turned pale and did not dare to look straight at Long Fei. At this moment, Long Fei crushed everything. The god's war hammer in the god's war beast's hands moved and returned to its shoulders. It coldly snorted. You dare to be arrogant with me? You are not qualified. It was incomparably domineering. Extreme arrogance. The Beast King Question of God only crushed you, causing Kai Tianan to pee his pants. On the other hand, the God's War Beast's killing intent was extremely strong, killing you the moment there was a single word. Just like that. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing Kai Tianan for obtaining 280,000 experience, 20,000 holy source, and 10 energy values. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the ancient holy artifact Sky Sword Strike. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the ancient blood vein. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining. The system sounded out continuously. Ding! Ancient holy artifact Sky Sword has been absorbed. Energy completed. Current energy is at the 71st level. The ancient holy artifact could increase the energy level up to 10 levels, from the 61st floor to the 71st floor, and furthermore. Most importantly, the golden cudgel's energy had not filled up completely. The power of the second stage of the main artifact had yet to be unleashed. 71st. Long Fei was extremely excited in his heart. What kind of power does it possess? What kind of power is the Sun Wukong? Really excited. I'm looking forward to it. At this time, an elder of the law enforcement hall said with a sunken voice, Long Fei, kill an elder. Long Fei said straightforwardly, stop bullshitting and don't stop. You all should know why he died. If you guys are not satisfied, you can also come up now. The god's hammer heavily fell from the god's war beast's hands to the ground. Rumble. A loud sound was heard as the god's war beast spoke in a deep voice. Who is not convinced? I'll hit him until he gives in. A man and a beast, their auras soaring to the heavens. So what if it was the law enforcement hall of the Tower Question of God? Unconvinced? Just get down. The expressions of the four elders from the law enforcement hall turned sinister as they said in a low voice, Long Fei, this is a Tower Question of God. You dare to be so arrogant. Without waiting for him to finish speaking, Long Fei interrupted him once again. Don't bullshit with lousy, all right? If you want to fight, then fight. If you do not dare to fight, then call some people who dare to fight. Also, go back and tell Zhang Wushuang, the 80th floor is nothing. Don't let this daddy in, otherwise his poop will explode every minute. Long Fei was not stupid. Kai Tiannan was obviously Zhang Wushuang's dog. Similarly, Long Fei was not afraid. The 80th level is indeed impressive, but so what? Who could block the energy filling of the 71st level? The law enforcement elder's expression became even more unsightly. He glanced at the God's War beast beside Long Fei and frowned. Long Fei, you're too arrogant. If I can't suppress you today, where's the prestige of my law enforcement hall? Long Fei's imposing manner directly caused them to be unable to breathe. The law enforcement hall. How exalted were they? When had they ever been humiliated like this and taken the examination as a disciple? This made them even more unhappy. Long Fei laughed coldly in disdain and said, I am so sorry. I have been this arrogant since I was young. Come up. Boom. He took a step forward. One of the clan elders rushed forward fiercely, all the energy in his body exploding out. With a flash of golden light, he struck Xiang Long Fei. Long Fei did not move. The God's War beast's hammer moved. Boom. It was as though he was playing golf. Whoosh. The law enforcement elder was directly sent flying and turned into a ray of light in the sky. His entire body had disappeared without a trace. This power. Strong performance. The God's War beast sneered. Try touching my boss again. How preposterous. Long Fei, kill the oracle and the second elder. Now you still have to kill the law-enforcing elders. The law-enforcement elder was furious. Long Fei was too arrogant. Even the elders of the law enforcement hall dared to make a move. What was this called? This was courting death. Feng Tian and the others started laughing complacently. This kid is sick of living. He dares to kill anyone. He's simply lawless. That's better. Young Master Feng, you will definitely answer us here today. Serves you right. I've never seen such a rampant person. He deserves to die. Against the law enforcement hall? This was a true challenge to the tower question of God, and was not an ordinary matter. If Long Fei dared do such a thing, the tower question of God's human powerhouse would definitely be angered. This way, death is absolute. Nangong Yin wanted to stop her, but she was simply too late. Things were developing more and more quickly than she had expected. Things were completely under control. Rumble. Another hall elder was blown away. The God's War beast sneered coldly. You guys can't even take a single blow. Do you think you guys can make a move on my boss? Rumble. Yet another elder had been crushed. Out of the 4 law-enforcing elders, only one was left. Long Fei's finger moved slightly and said, Continue. Long Fei, you've caused trouble. Then the law enforcement clan elder said solemnly. Long Fei sneered and said, What's the big matter? It's a huge matter, but it's not a big deal for me. Aren't you going to kill me? Then come. You're not coming, right? God's War beasts. Boom. The God's War beast suddenly moved and rushed forward. The God's War hammer in its hand suddenly hacked out, causing a series of explosions in the sky, and a series of crackling sound from lightning overlaid the hammer. Boom, boom, boom. A hammer blow descended. At the same time, the sky suddenly darkened as a powerful force covered the sky. He then shouted, You dog, stop! Buzz! It was as though the heavens were suppressing him. It was as if the sky was suddenly pressed down upon them. It was as if the sky had collapsed. He couldn't bear it. Long Fei's legs were trembling. He had never felt such pressure before, but Long Fei glanced at the God's War beasts and roared. Kill! He had to do it if he didn't want to. If he was unhappy, he would kill. Crushing your father? This father is even more unhappy. Under the pressure of a semi-divine might, he was incomparably valiant. The person who was falling down from the sky was none other than the great clan elder of the Tower Question of God, Yin Tianluo. Semi-realistic realm, an existence that was powerful to the point of being terrifying. Hearing Long Fei's voice, Yin Tianluo became even more furious, impudent. He shouted. A bolt of lightning struck down from above Long Fei's head in a fit of rage. and in that instant, Long Fei's body could not bear it. Activate Resurrection Ring. The tempo of being inst-killed. The health point was going crazy. At this time, Long Fei still did not retreat and shouted, "Kill!" Chapter 1471, Fusion. Chapter 1471, Fusion. Don't be afraid, gobble him up. The more he crushed, the more Long Fei wanted to kill him. Moreover, at this critical juncture, Long Fei needed experience. He needed tens of thousands of experience. Boom, boom, boom. The health point above Long Fei's head was plummeting crazily, as if it was 10,000 times stronger than normal, causing it to drop by a large amount. He couldn't bear it, but he still ordered the gods' war beasts to continue killing. The reason why Yin Tianluo was able to suppress Long Fei was because his cultivation was low, but the cultivation of the gods' war beasts was not weaker than Yin Tianluo's. "Brat, you dare!" Yin Tianluo roared and started killing right under his nose. What was this? The law enforcement clan elder also asked, "Long Fei, are you tired of living?" Rumble. Yin Tianluo unleashed an even stronger force. Long Fei did not go to defend. He had no way to defend himself, since it was impossible for him to do so. Even if he were to use all kinds of power, he wouldn't be able to withstand it. Cultivation was the foundation of everything. Long Fei was still only at the stage of the star ranked. Even with Ashura's body, he couldn't use his full power and couldn't resist it at all. Level. It was the main melody of possession. It was the source of all power. Without a rank, it would be useless even if Long Fei used a heavenly treasure. He couldn't use his full power either. Long Fei sinisterly roared out and said, "Come then, rumble, rumble." Yin Tianluo and the gods' war beasts' attacks landed at the same time. Long Fei's body sank, and he almost fell to the ground from the explosion. His face was pale white and incomparably painful. The sickle of death seemed to want to reap his harvest. That feeling, death. His health point plummeted, and in a short moment, he reached the bottom. "I'm going to die," Yin Tianluo coldly snorted. His one move was enough to crush any powerhouse below the semi-god realm and instantly kill them. Naturally, Long Fei could not block it either. "You overestimate yourself," Yin Tianluo snorted coldly. He could see everything that happened to Long Fei with his own eyes. How could a Long Fei block his attack? It was extremely disdainful. However, a strange scene happened. Long Fei was about to die, but his body released a loud sound, and a warm current rushed in, causing his power to suddenly become stronger. All the attacks disappeared from within his body. It was completely incomprehensible. He was getting stronger. Yin Tianluo could clearly feel that Long Fei had broken through in that instant. He had leveled up. As Long Fei's health point was plummeting, God's War Beast hammered down several times, turning the law enforcement elder into meat paste. The system sounded out. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing law enforcing elder for obtaining 190,000 experience, 10,000 holy source points, 10 energy values points. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Currently level 8. What did leveling up mean? It meant that any pain, any injury, and the power of attack would disappear in an instant. Long Fei's blood was instantly restored, and he was completely out of the control of any power. This was the power of leveling up. He clenched his fists and growled, Your father will not die." Rumble. An explosion sounded in the sky, and it was extremely shocking. A bolt of lightning streaked across the horizon, shining onto Long Fei's sinister face. There was not a single wound on his body, and everyone looked at him as if they were looking at a monster. Was he even human? Could the power of the semi-realistic realm, with its heaven-defying might, be stopped? Long Fei was not a human. Not only did he block it, he even made a breakthrough in that instant just now. What was this called? Even Yin Tianluo didn't understand it for a moment. Boom! Yin Tianluo landed heavily, stared at Long Fei, and said coldly, "Breakthrough. All the injuries in your body have disappeared. All the injuries have healed. I have to say, Long Fei, you are very special. However, even if you are special today, you will still die. Long Fei stared coldly at Yin Tianluo and said, You want to kill me? Yin Tianluo sneered. You must die. Long Fei laughed. What if I don't die today? Not die. Yin Tianluo found it very funny and said, Don't worry, you will definitely die. Who could live under him? He was the king of living hell. All below the demigod level are ants. Whoever wanted to die had to die. Thus, even if Long Fei had exploded his special power just now, in his eyes, Long Fei was still the same, an ant. Long Fei said, I just want to ask you, what if I don't die today? Die. But you? Huh. Ha. Ha ha. Yin Tianluo began to laugh loudly. He looked at Long Fei and said, Was I the one who died? Long Fei, I have to say, you really know how to tell jokes. Many of the surrounding people also began to laugh loudly. Ha ha ha. Long Fei, do you know who he is? Long Fei, you're overestimating yourself. You dare to be so arrogant in front of the great clan elder? Just you wait, he's going to die soon. I'm just looking at him kneeling on the ground and begging for mercy. He must be really good looking, ha ha ha. The great clan elder who killed the semi-realistic realm? It's a fantasy story, right? Nangong Yin and Yi Jingyin were startled. Did Long Fei kill them red-eyed? In the chaos realm, the semi-realistic realm could be said to be an existence that went against the heavens. It was simply impossible to kill it. Everyone mocked Long Fei for overestimating his own abilities. Long Fei also started laughing, and her laughter was very cold. At the same time he laughed, the God's War beasts landed beside him. Yin Tianluo looked at the God's War beasts and laughed coldly. With just him, God's War beasts, the war beasts that the ancient holy battlefield has dropped, are indeed not bad, but if I want to kill someone in the chaos realm, no one can stop me. It's the same with the God's War beasts. The God's War beast disdained and said, If you have the guts, try it. He had a fiery temper. However, the God's War beast sent a sound transmission to Long Fei and said, Boss, this guy is too strong. I can't stop him. You don't need to block. I need your strength now. Long Fei laughed lightly, looked at Yin Tianluo, and said, Kill you? I don't need help. Kid, you're truly arrogant. To be so arrogant in front of me, there can only be one outcome, and that is die. Suddenly, Yin Tianluo moved. His speed was heaven-defying. He rushed to Long Fei's side in almost an instant. At this moment, Long Fei slapped the God's War beasts and roared, Fitted soul, God's War beasts, give me your strength. Rumble. In an instant, all of the God's War beasts' energy was sucked into Long Fei's body. Under the effect of 1,000,000 points of spiritual academy value, Long Fei's own energy fused with the God's War beasts' energy. His aura exploded. He struck out with his fist. You know your father is crazy. Then you still dare to make a move? Chapter 1472. Defeat in one move. Chapter 1472. Defeat in one move. Everything happened in a flash. Yin Tianluo rushed forward. Long Fei absorbed the God's War beast's power. He punched out. In that instant, the two forces collided. Golden light shot in all directions, and the sky darkened. It was as if the surrounding air within 1,000,000 kilometers was instantly sucked out. Instantly, the spatial tear quickly spread out. It was densely packed like a spider web in the sky. This scene, it was like the end of the world. The collision of energy caused such a huge sensation that it was extremely terrifying. Yin Tianluo's eyes turned sinister. Your strength. Long Fei grinned and laughed sinisterly. What about my power? Fierce, right? Ha! There's more to it. Destroy the heavens. With his left hand, he summoned the Sword of Destroy. Buzz. Without using the holy source to catalyze it, the Sword of Destroy automatically combusted, and crazily combusted as the power of the Sun God authentic artifact burst out. Boom, boom, boom. The Sun God's idea, which was within the group of Sword of Destroy, slightly moved. Yang Yuan's sword chi burst out. Long Fei's left hand moved, raising the great sword. He said excitedly, "I'll let you experience a more ferocious power." A voice rang out. Heaven decimating slash. As the sword slashed down, the flames exploded out for 1,000 miles. The dense spiderweb cracks burned as if the sky was on fire. The scene was indescribably terrifying. Even a layer of the sky was about to be destroyed. Yin Tianluo's eyes darkened. His mind was trembling. He had never seen such powerful strength. The limitless Yang Qi carried an endless amount of God's power. The power of a true God. Flee. In that instant, Yin Tianluo's mind raced. He knew that he would not be able to withstand this sword strike. If he continued to attack Long Fei, he would die here. He roared in his heart. Rumble. The golden light around Yin Tianluo's body completely exploded outwards as he shouted in a deep voice, "Long Fei, you think that a trash like you can kill me? Keep dreaming." A wave of energy rebounded, and Yin Tianluo fiercely shot out. "You want to escape?" "Humph." Long Fei laughed coldly and said, "I'm a trash? Then why are you still running? Who is the trash?" "Ha ha ha." A few loud laughs rang out. Long Fei formed a palm with his fist and said with a heavy voice, "Suckstar over China God, get back here." Could a duck that was in his mouth make him fly? His grandmother. Long Fei definitely could not let Yin Tianluo escape. A semi-realistic realm boss like this, it was like fat flowing oil. How could he let Yin Tianluo escape? Suckstar over China. Divine level power explosion. Furthermore, with Long Fei's current cultivation, he was at the same level as the gods' war beasts. Thus, the power he released was also at the same level as the gods' war beasts, so strong that it felt like it was going to explode. Suckstar over China was also good. No matter if it was the sword of destroys sun god power of life, it was all because of the gods' war beasts' level. Only under such circumstances was Long Fei able to raise his cultivation technique to its peak. Once the Suckstar over China appeared, a black hole appeared in Long Fei's palm, like a cave. He continued to crazily absorb the energy. Yin Tianluo, who originally wanted to escape, was sucked in by Long Fei's strength in this instant. He could not escape at all. Yin Tianluo struggled with all he had. The power of the semi-realistic realm continued to impact, but it was not enough to stop him. It was simply impossible to break through Long Fei's power. The power of the fitted soul was too strong. The two powers combined into one. To a certain extent, it surpassed the semi-realistic realm. He completely crushed Yin Tianluo. Go to hell. As the heaven decimating slash came crashing down, Long Fei let out a furious roar. The roar was not directed at Yin Tianluo, but at the figure that floated in the air in the depths of the sky. A cold figure. There was no change in his eyes. Zhan Wushuang. From a moment Long Fei executed the fitted soul, he had already appeared. The fitted soul was a profound art exclusive to his uncle Zhan Hong too, but now it was grasped by Long Fei. His expression turned sinister and became abnormally cold. However, he did not move, because he knew that even if he moved, it would be useless. However, there was not the slightest trace of fear in his eyes. In fact, there was even a hint of disdain in his eyes. And just like before, he did not place Long Fei in his eyes at all. Even though Long Fei's cultivation could suppress the powerhouse, he still looked down on him with contempt, because his strength had absolutely suppressed Long Fei's. Rumble. The sword slashed down. Kacha. A loud sound was heard. Yin Tianluo's head was chopped off, blood spurting out and splattering everywhere. Long Fei stared at the air without moving, looked at Zhan Wushuang, and shouted coldly. Zhan Wushuang, continue targeting this daddy. Come on, rumble. A flash of lightning. Zhan Wushuang's ice-cold voice sounded, and he said, Long Fei, you're not worthy enough for me to attack you. Just like the distance between you and me, you can only forever look up to me. Do you understand? You don't even have the qualifications for me to attack. Cultivate my uncle's fitted soul? So what if we kill Yin Tianluo? In my eyes, You're still trash. Trash. Rumble. Lightning wreaked havoc, shining onto Zhang Wushuang's body. He stood there motionlessly, like a god. Cultivation base. His aura and his calmness were completely different from before. His cultivation was much stronger than he had imagined. To be able to break through the 80 levels of Tower Question of God in such a short period of time. Long Fei was enraged and felt extremely unwell in his heart. His right foot shook. Rumble. His body shot into the air like a rocket. The idea connected to the golden cudgel and the energy of the 71st level was activated anytime. Arrogant. I don't believe that I can't kill you today. The energy was filled to the 71st level, which was prepared for Zhang Wushuang. I don't believe I can't kill him. Humph. Zhang Wushuang laughed coldly, a look of contempt in his eyes as he said, You? Rumble. Zhang Wushuang's right foot suddenly shook, and the golden light around his body exploded like a golden magic shield. I'll let you know what a difference is, without waiting for Long Fei to get close. Suddenly, a shiny golden shield appeared in Zhang Wushuang's hands. Main artifact, God Shield. This was the key that made it impossible for Long Fei's main gun to lock onto him. Look at it. Long Fei's eyes lit up. It's mine. The idea moved, and just as he was about to activate the 71st layer of energy, Zhang Wushuang took a step forward and activated a strand of energy. The golden energy on the God's shield suddenly turned into a beam of light. Sky God's heavy strike. Rumble. The golden light shot towards Long Fei's body like a laser cannon, leaving him no time to react. Rumble. Rumble. His entire body was blasted down, creating a deep crater. The crater was tightly bound by the golden light and could not be moved at all. Chapter 1473. Enormous Gap. Chapter 1473. Enormous Gap Move. Bullet. No. Damn. He was completely crushed. Moreover, and it was even under the release of the fitted soul. This difference. It was unimaginable. Long Fei struggled crazily, but it was completely useless. The golden hoops on his body continued to move, and the more he struggled, the tighter his restraints got. The strength of a God shield. An existence that was incomparably valiant. You can't do it. Zhang Wushuang condescendingly looked down and coldly laughed. Killing you is as easy as crushing an ant. Endless savagery. Long Fei stared at Zhang Wushuang, who was in the sky, and felt extremely uncomfortable in his heart. He thought that the difference between his current cultivation and Zhang Wushuang's was not that big, and he thought that the energy main artifact at the 71st floor was enough to kill Zhang Wushuang. But he was wrong. The mistake was outrageous. He couldn't even get close to Zhang Wushuang, much less touch the corner of his clothes. Even if he released the energy from the 71st level, he would still not be a match for it, because the God's shield in his hands exceeded Long Fei's expectations. It was truly too powerful. Long Fei was pressed into the deep pit. His eyes were bloodshot, and his heart was in incomparable pain. He was growing. He was becoming stronger. However, Zhang Wushuang was also becoming stronger, and the strength and resources he had obtained were far more than Long Fei's. The mysterious 9 secret warrior family. The enormous cultivation resources within the Tower Question of God were crazily being provided to Zhang Wushuang. Breaking through the 80th level was not something that anyone could do. Zhang Wushuang's face was filled with fear, and he coldly sneered. Long Fei, you don't even have the qualifications to die at my hands. Do you understand? With just you want to fight me? You want to snatch junior sister Lier from me? Are you worthy? What qualifications do you have? As his words fell, every word was like a thunderbolt that struck right into Long Fei's mind. It was even more unbearable than being crushed. The difference was too great. Long Fei clenched his teeth so hard that he was about to shatter them. He couldn't say a single word because, now that he had been crushed, he didn't have the qualifications to say anything. For the weak, all words are pale. Zhang Wushuang looked at Long Fei with contempt and said, Take care of yourself by peeing. See what kind of virtue you have. Ha! Zhang Wushuang laughed madly, retracted his power, and said, Long Fei will forever live in the shadow of my fear, huh? Laughter filled the sky. Everything within a 10,000-kilometer radius echoed. Zhang Wushuang's figure slowly disappeared into the horizon. In the pit, Long Fei clenched both his fists tightly, his nails digging into his flesh, causing fresh blood to flow out, as though he could not feel any pain, no matter how much pain his body felt. It was not even 1,000th of the pain in his heart. He thought that he could crush Zhang Wushuang, but reality is... The rage in his heart exploded, as Long Fei roared towards the sky. With a hideous expression, the veins in his body bulged. When a magic body's killing intent frantically spread out, Long Fei was slightly unable to control himself and wanted to go berserk. He felt really bad. He was crushed while he was still in Yuan Yang clan. The woman was robbed. Now, even though he was being crushed, even after all these years of hard work, he still could not shake Zhang Wushuang, nor could he take revenge. Only Long Fei himself knew what this kind of pain meant. I'm really, 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 really. Listening to Zhang Wushuang's wild laughter, Long Fei went crazy in his heart and roared continuously. The blow was too great. He thought he had everything ready, but in just one move, he was defeated by Zhang Wushuang. He was powerless to resist, and he couldn't even get close to Zhang Wushuang. The difference was too great. Nangong Yin saw Long Fei almost go crazy from self-abuse. Her heart ached for him, but she couldn't even say a single word. She didn't know how to comfort Long Fei. Yi Jingyun did the same. He stood at the side of the giant pit and silently looked at Long Fei, not knowing how to comfort him. They had all seen the gap between them. It is insurmountable. It wasn't that you could change it just by cultivating diligently. There was simply too much of a difference between the two. While you were working hard, others were also working hard, making it impossible for them to catch up to you. The giant shield in his hand could easily kill Long Fei with one move. None of them could stop it. However, Long Fei did not know that the last move had consumed 300 of his ancient spiritual artifact. However, the ancient spiritual artifacts were an endless supply to Zhang Wushuang. The 9 secret warrior family were all collecting ancient spiritual artifact for him. The energy in his god's shield filled up to thousands of levels. They were both main artifact, and both of them possessed the same kind of power, but the more powerful the god's shield in Zhang Wushuang's hands, the more Long Fei could naturally not withstand it. Tower question of God. Zhang Wushuang frowned. In just a few short years, you have become so powerful. I have truly underestimated you, Long Fei. To be able to kill Yin Tianluo of the semi-realistic realm, this was no ordinary strength. At that time, if he had not used the power of the god's shield, I'm afraid, he was simply unable to suppress Long Fei. The energy filling the 200 floors disappeared just like that, making Zhang Wushuang extremely unhappy in his heart. This energy was all prepared for the ancient holy battlefield. Consumption 200 floors. Zhang Wushuang immediately said, Send a message to my father. Tell him to prepare another 200 ancient spiritual artifact. Yes, young master. A servant left. One of the elders spoke slightly. My lord, why didn't you kill him? Long Fei being tied up was an easy task for Zhang Wushuang to kill him, but it did not happen. The corner of Zhang Wushuang's mouth lifted slightly and said, He can't die yet. The old man asked why. Zhang Wushuang looked at the distant sky and the golden divine tower floating under the sun, then said softly, For Xinyuan Lier, he cannot die. I don't care about Long Fei's life. Killing him is easy, but I can't let him influence my plans. Xinyuan Lier must break through the tower question of God, must break through the 100th floor and enter the ancient holy battlefield. Zhang Wushuang laughed. His laugh was very sinister. He did not kill Long Fei because he wanted to provoke Xinyuan Lier. And only if Long Fei could unleash the potential within Xin Yuan Lier's body, would he be able to break through the tower question of God? He wanted the power in Xin Yuan Lier's body. Everything he did was for that power. From the moment Zhang Wushuang was born, he had been carrying the burden of the 9 secret warrior family's rise. As a descendant of God, he had to restore his family to the peak of their spiritual power. Who dared to stop him? They all had to die. Long Fei. It was just that he died a little later. Zhang Wushuang laughed coldly. Long Fei, once Xin Yuan Lier breaks through the 100th level, it will be the time when your life will be lost. In the yard, Long Fei crazily cultivated his cultivation technique over and over again, as if he had gone mad. Every time he used all of his strength, he would act like a mad demon. I want to become stronger. I must become strong. Chapter 1474. High Lord Hell. Chapter 1474. High Lord Hell. Long Fei was like a madman. Crazy cultivation technique. It was the only thing he could do. Zhang Wushuang's one move to defeat him was simply too big of a blow. However, he did not know that Zhang Wushuang had used the energy of 200 levels and did not know that main artifact had the principle of attacking first to gain the upper hand. However, Zhang Wushuang was very clear about this. He understood all the power of the God Shield. This was a reason why Long Fei had lost. If the two of them activated their main artifact S at the same time, it was not clear who would win and who would lose. Of course, this was under the activation of energy of the same realm. If one were to compare Long Fei's energy at the 71st level, Zhang Wushuang's power at the 1000th level was simply too big of a difference. Again, rumble. Long Fei cultivated as though he was insane. Looked at him dumbstruck, not knowing what to do. Yi Jingyun said, "If this goes on, I will become a cripple." "Yo, Master Long, you can't continue." Long Fei acted as if he did not hear anything and converted his points into holy source pills to crazily replenish his holy source value. As long as he had the holy source value, he would be cultivating. The holy source was exhausted, and he was still cultivating. Every move, he would train his body like the average warrior. He lost twice to the same opponent. He would not allow himself to lose again. Absolutely not. Nangong Yin held on to Yi Jingyun and said, "Let him go crazy. He wants to vent it out, otherwise he will really collapse." No one could stand that kind of scene. A few years of preparation, a single defeat, such a blow. Unparalleled. Yi Jingyun said in a heavy voice, "Zhang Wushuang's strength is too strong. Young Master Long can kill a powerhouse with a semi-realistic realm, but then, that shield, that golden energy then? Furthermore, I heard that 9 secret warrior family is originally the descendant of a god. No matter how strong a young Master Long is, it would be impossible for them to fight against a god. Zhang Wushuang was too strong, so powerful that Yi Jingyun couldn't think of any way to shake it. Moreover, his background was so strong that it caused a chill to run through his heart. The 9 secret warrior family itself had a god. How could the clan of gods contend against this? Not at all. Nangongyan looked at Long Fei and muttered, "So what if you're a god? No one could stop him. Believe him, he will definitely come out." Yi Jingyun sighed heavily. Nangongyan then asked, "How are we going to deal with the exam? What news from the tower question of God?" Yi Jingyun was startled. He frowned and said, "It sounds strange. Logically speaking, Long Fei killed Great Clan Elder Yin Tianluo, Second Clan Elder Kai Tianan, and a few other law enforcement clan elders. By right, the tower question of God should have sent people to apprehend Long Fei. But these 2 days, there's been no news at all. It's as if this never happened. Could it be that someone up there is protecting the young Master Long?" Yi Jingyun couldn't wrap his head around it. Grand Elder, the death of the second elder was a huge matter. There wasn't even a reaction, no reason. Nangongyan stared at him and said, "You still want to react? Why would you be happy if Long Fei died?" Yi Jingyun hurriedly said, "That's not what I meant. I mean, this is too abnormal, right? I just don't think it's that simple." Nangongyan slightly said, "It is indeed not simple. I wonder who exactly is protecting Long Fei, and what is his goal? I feel like this tower question of God is getting more and more difficult to understand. Who is protecting Long Fei? Zhan Wushuang did not want Long Fei to die. Thus, he didn't propose anything, but the law enforcement hall only listened to the order of the tower question of God's Tower Master. Regardless of whether Zhan Wushuang had proposed to break the law of the tower question of God, they would capture him. Killing an elder and even a member of the law enforcement hall was a huge matter. The law enforcement hall couldn't just let this go, unless the Tower Lord gave the order. The Tower Master of the Tower Question of God had always been a mysterious existence. Even Zhan Wushuang had never seen someone say that he was the saint of the 100th floor. Some say he is a god. Others said that he was a person who did not exist at all. However, no one dared to look down on his existence, much less challenge his authority. The Tower Question of God was still under his control from beginning to end. Somewhere in the Tower Question of God. Hi, Lord Hell. I've settled your son's matter for you. Don't you think you should give me the things you promised? A person wearing a black cloak whose appearance couldn't be seen clearly could only see a pair of cold, chilling eyes under the black robe. Naturally, I will give you the item. However, if something happens to my son, you know the consequences. A voice rang out in the air, filled with anger. The law enforcement hall will not touch him. As for whether or not Zhan Wushuang and the 9 Secret Warrior family will touch him, I don't care. Your son, I'll say something I shouldn't. Too arrogant, too flamboyant. It's not like you know how to endure. Even if you signed a contract with the Grim Reaper, you could still reverse the killing and replace it with a counterattack at the last moment. This is what I admire the most, Long Zhanting. Replacing. He had gone from being a nobody to becoming a high lord of hell. A godlike existence. Moreover, Long Zhanting's cultivation rose exponentially. From the day Long Fei entered the Chaos Realm, he had been preparing for Long Fei. He knew, sooner or later, Long Fei would come to the Tower Question of God, and he would be waiting for him here since the beginning. Furthermore, he knew the secrets of the owner of Tower Question of God and knew his fatal weakness. Lifespan. Humans are afraid of death. Powerhouse is afraid of death, gods. The same was true for being afraid of death. What Long Zhanting could provide was longevity, lifespan beyond the control of fate. Long Zhanting slightly smiled. He walks on a different path than me. He is far stronger than me. You just need to control the law enforcement hall and not move him. As for Zhan Wushuang, sooner or later, he will step on me. Owner of Tower Question of God laughed coldly. Stepping on Zhan Wushuang? If you don't help him, even if he was given another 1,000,000 years, he will still not be able to surpass Zhan Wushuang. On him, but there are main artifact S. Moreover, it's the main artifact that Zhan Wushuang was born with. This is the mark of a god. He's the super genius that's about to become a god. What is your son? They're not even on the same level. Long Zhanting coldly laughed. He did not continue to argue with owner of Tower Question of God on this matter, because he was very clear of his own son. The stronger the enemy, the stronger his drive. The road of Long family's rise was not limited to God's martial continent. The Long family came from the divinity and even from the God realm. He wanted Long Fei to enter the ancient holy battlefield. He wanted to let the Long family truly rise in power in the hands of Long Fei, an existence that could crush all existence. This was the teachings of the Long ancestor. Since it was a dragon, it had to fly. God's martial continent, chaos realm, ancient holy battlefield, divinity, sovereign world, he would crush them all. This is Long family's ambition. Chapter 1475. Chapter 1475, 3 days later. Iseng returned to his seat as the examiner. However, compared to the past, he was a little weak. In addition, the final mission, which was also the final round, was called the final exam, hunting. After he issued the mission, Long Fei walked out of the courtyard. His expression was more mature than before, and the aura around his body was even more vigorous. In these 3 days, he cultivated like a mad demon, breaking through the light speed sword. The light speed sword that he had mastered was completely different. Young Master Long, tomorrow will be the last round of the examination. After Yi Jingyun received the news, he immediately ran over. His brows tightly knitted and said worriedly, "This time around, it seems to be one of the 5 people with the highest score. Your current result, other than the 100 points in his alchemy, the rest of Long Fei's alchemy were not up to standard. According to the results, he was at the bottom. Long Fei did not say anything. No matter what, he was determined to enter the tower question of God. Yi Jingyan looked at Long Fei with a calm face and said, "Young Master Long, aren't you worried?" Nangong Yin also walked into the courtyard and said, "There is still the final round of the examination. This time, the number of demon beasts being hunted will be determined, and whoever can kill more will be able to enter the tower question of Goddess to become its disciple." She looked at Long Fei and said softly, "Long Fei, this is your strength, and the final round of examination does not have the highest score. As long as you achieve a good result and surpass it, you will have the opportunity to strike back with all your might. If 100 was 100 points, then 1,000 would be worth 100 points. 10,000 would be 100 points. There was no limit. This way, as long as he was fierce enough, he would be able to fight back." Yi Jingyun was startled and said, "Can this be done? Then, young Master Long, I will hunt demon beast with all my might tomorrow. I will give all the demon beasts to you." Nangong Yin followed. "I'll give it to you too." Long Fei asked coldly, "Top 5. Nangong Yin and Yi Jingyan looked at Long Fei, a little confused. The next morning, martial arts arena. There were only 70 or so disciples that were left in the top 100. At the last stage, all of them were especially agitated and nervous. Becoming a disciple of the Tower Question of God was something that could be bragged about for the rest of one's life. An opportunity to reach the heavens in a single step. He might even be able to break through the 100 layers of Tower Question of God. Bi Sung coughed lightly. His voice sank, and he said faintly, "This is the last trial of this assessment. After this assessment is over, we will decide that 5 disciples will enter the Tower Question of God." During these 3 days of hunting, there is no point limit. But there's one thing I need to remind you of. The demon beasts here are incomparably powerful. You all must be careful. After he finished, the audience started discussing amongst themselves. "Young Master Feng, this time you've stabilized." "Haha, we can congratulate young Master Feng in advance. His score is the highest, and is 300 points higher than the lowest. Who would be able to catch up?" "Exactly. I heard that there's a special reward for being first in the exam, young Master Feng. Don't forget me in the future." Feng Tian laughed proudly. He glanced at Long Fei, who was at the back of the crowd, and laughed complacently. "I will unleash an even stronger power during the last stage of the trial." Yi Jingyun shouted angrily, "Feng Tian, who are you calling a trash?" Feng Tian sneered. "Those with poor results are naturally trash, aren't they? If he wasn't a trash, how could his results be bad? And he's still far from breaking through the heavens." Yi Jingyun became furious and stared at Feng Tian. "If you dare, say it again." Feng Tian was not afraid in the slightest, and said, "I already said, those with poor results are trash, 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 trash. They're going to bite me." In 3 days, he would be an official disciple of the Tower Question of God. Yi Jingyan, Long Fei. These people were all people from different worlds, so he was naturally not afraid of anyone at this time. Even if Long Fei was extremely powerful, after 3 days, he was a man-to-man, and Long Fei was a lowly slave. The difference between them was like the difference between heaven and earth. He didn't have to be afraid at all. Wanted to make a comeback? That was impossible. Long Fei killed monsters quickly, and he was not slow either. Furthermore, he was not alone. He had many people. With regards to this quota, he was certain of it and certain of it. Yi Jingyan was furious. The Yi Sing shouted in a deep voice, "Enough, stop arguing. Who is the trash and who is the genius? This round will decide your fate. If you don't want others to call you trash, then devote all of your energy into 120,000 points. I said before, This is a test that can be reversed. This is your last chance. These words were said for Long Fei's ears. Yixing liked it when Long Fei passed the examination. However, it was very difficult. His grades are lagging far behind. The first round and the second round both had 0 points. The third round only got 100 points because of the second elder. The fourth round got the lowest score, and the fifth round got the lowest score, which meant that his current score was only 120 points. It could be said that it was impossible to make a comeback. Yixing looked at the time and said, "Let's begin." The secret world door opened, and the disciples entered in succession. Long Fei entered next. Yixing looked at Long Fei and reminded him, "Long Fei, do your best." Long Fei was startled for a moment and said, "Clan Elder, I would like to ask a question." Yixing asked, "What problem?" Long Fei asked, "Did the person ranked in the top 5 pass?" Yixing replied, "Yes, why are you asking this?" Long Fei laughed, but did not reply and went straight into the secret world. Why would he ask that? Yixing muttered, a little confused. Suddenly, his brows tightened as he thought of a very serious problem. He murmured to himself, "Could it be? He wants to kill. Hunting people." "Sir, they've entered the final exam grounds. With his current results, it's impossible for him to make a comeback. Lord can be at ease." A oracle said respectfully. Zhan Wushuang held his hands behind his back, looked at the sky, looked at the giant golden pagoda in the sky, and muttered, "Long Fei, you are destined to be stepped on by me under my feet forever. Don't even think about getting up for the rest of your life." Then, Zhan Wushuang asked, "What level has Xianyuan Li'er reached now?" Oracle replied, "It's already the 63rd floor." Zhan Wushuang smiled slightly and said, "Li'er, it seems that Long Fei is really your motivation. Unfortunately, you will never see him again." "Ha!" Zhan Wushuang laughed complacently. The faster Xianyuan Li'er moved, the happier he became. Everything was going according to his plan. Once Xianyuan Li'er broke through the 100th floor, she would definitely have no chance of leaving. She would be instantly summoned into the ancient holy battlefield. Chapter 1476. Laughing. Now you're laughing for your father again. Chapter 1476. Laughing. Now you're laughing for your father again. Hunting grounds, secret world. The majestic mountains stretched out endlessly. One couldn't see the end of them. "Yo, Master Long, what should we do?" Yi Jingyun stood beside Long Fei. Nangongyan looked at the mountains and said in a low voice, "The demon beasts here are all evil demon beasts and are unusually dangerous. It's extremely difficult for even one person to survive here, and it's even more difficult to kill them all." Her ability to sense the power of evil far surpassed ordinary people. After entering this place, he immediately discovered that the air around the mountain was different, filled with an evil aura. This was most likely a training field, a training ground specialized for hunting demons. Yi Jingyun was startled. "Then what do we do?" Long Fei laughed coldly. "Hunting down demons is difficult. Then we'll just kill people." The two of them were stunned at the same time as they looked at Long Fei. Long Fei said slightly, "Go hunt the demon beast together, or stand here and don't move. I will allow all of you to enter the tower question of God." Finished. Long Fei moved, Fire Unicorn. Boom! When the Fire Unicorn came out, Long Fei rode on top of it and said, "Find them." Fire Unicorn said, "Understood." Shwa! The ball of fire disappeared in the blink of an eye. Only Nangong Yin and Yi Jingyun's dazed expressions remained. Yi Jingyun muttered, "What is young Master Long trying to do?" Nangong Yin looked at the sky and muttered, "It's a massacre. This time, no one can stop him." Deep in the night, the waning moon hung in the sky. The dense forest was pitch black, and only the occasional growl of demon beast could be heard from the valley in the distance. A bonfire was lit. The 5 people sat in a circle, discussing something softly. "Feng Tian will definitely get first place this time. We will also push ourselves to get first place, so we need to get at least 1 spot. Don't worry, if I can enter the tower question of God, I will definitely think of a way to repay you." Right. Have you seen that brat Long Fei? That trash. After this assessment is over, there's nothing left for him to do. Return to his original form and return to where he came from. He is destined to be from a different world from us. After being defeated by Zhang Wushuang in one move, it's clear that his talent is not even worth mentioning compared to Zhang Wushuang, and the Tower Question of God cannot possibly nurture him either. Speaking of Long Fei, you really brought about your own destruction. You deserved it. But that Nangong Yin is really pretty smart. It would be great if he could accompany me for one night. Ha ha! Everyone laughed. Just as they were talking, a stroke of flame fell heavily, and a fire unicorn stood on their bonfire. Long Fei asked coldly, "You like to laugh, right? Then laugh to your heart's content." Boom! Once the sword of Destroy landed, the light speed sword was used at full strength. 1 second later, Long Fei slightly said, "Next place." The fire unicorn leapt into the air and instantly disappeared into the darkness. There was a thin crack on the necks of the 5 people, and they didn't have time to say anything. After Long Fei left, the bodies of the 5 people seemed to be unable to endure the pressure and fell down. All beheaded, instantly killed. Blood wildly sprayed out, extinguishing the bonfire. Ding, ding, ding. 5 notifications sounded. Although there weren't many experience points, 50 points of striking energy value wasn't a small amount. Long Fei, what are you planning to do? We didn't offend you. We didn't do anything. You, what do you want to do? Long Fei sneered and said, "Didn't you guys like to ridicule me? Aren't you laughing very happily? I'll make you cry now." As soon as he finished, Long Fei moved again and slashed out. Chua! The full moon sword Chi eliminated at 360 degrees and slashed down. Kacha kacha! His body was split in half. The surrounding towering trees also collapsed, all of them with their waist cut off. Long Fei did not stay any longer, and once again rode his fire unicorn and flew to another place. Boss, 60 kilometers to the east. The fire unicorn moved slightly. Right now, it had absorbed all of the power of the Qilin's sacred blood, and its sensing ability was extremely strong. Long Fei said, "Then let's continue." For the entire night, Long Fei did not stop, nor did he kill a single demon beast. Those who had mocked him had always ignored them, but they just like to be cheap. The more you don't care about them, the happier they will be. If that was the case, then all of them will die. Being defeated by Zhang Wushuang in one move was a huge blow to Long Fei. However, his temperament had also changed. His murderous intent was even stronger. In another place, boom, one of the evil demons was killed. Feng Tian walked forward and beheaded it, and kept it among the space ring S. "Young Master Feng, there's another demon beast. You have one for sure this time." Ha! Everyone began to laugh excitedly. Feng Tian also laughed complacently. This is all because of everyone. Once I enter the Tower Question of God, I, Feng Tian, will definitely not mistreat everyone. Our Feng family will definitely reward you heavily. Ha! Feng Tian started laughing, feeling extremely proud in his heart, and thought to himself, "I never thought that I, Feng Tian, would enter the Tower Question of God with the first result. Ha! All of this is fate. So what if it's Song Quan? So what if it's Yi Jingyan? So what if it's Long Fei? After a few days, these people will all just be ants in my eyes." After 3 days, he would become a man. Superior. Long Fei. He was just a lowly person. The corner of Feng Tian's mouth hooked up coldly as he said sinisterly, "At that time, Nangong Yin will become my plaything, and I will trample him under my feet." Huh? It's very interesting just to think about it. Boom! At this moment, a flame fell and a roar resounded. Everyone was shocked. A disciple said in shock, "It's Long Fei." Feng Tian's eyes darkened. With a cold snort, he said, "Long Fei, what are you doing here?" Long Fei's eyes swept across them and said, "What are you doing?" "It's very simple. I'll take your life." Feng Tian's mind trembled and said, "This is the secret world who is taking the examination for the Tower Question of God. You dare to kill randomly? Besides, I have so many people here. Why would I be afraid of you? The crowd was taken aback. They stepped forward and bellowed. Feng Tian laughed. Long Fei, if you know what's good for you, scram. If you don't, you're going to die here today, understand? You dog. Ha! The surrounding people burst into laughter. Long Fei slightly raised his eyes and moved once again. His figure shot out like a ray of light and landed with a whoosh. Boom! A person's body was split in half. Long Fei grinned. You like laughing? Now F*** king, continue laughing. Boom! The sword slashed again and again. Another person's body was split into two halves. Long Fei. A massacre, a slaughter. No one could stop him. In just a few seconds, all of the disciples surrounding him fell. Long Fei stared at the shivering Feng Tian and said, Laugh! Laugh for lousy again. Chapter 1477, Shocking the Great Perfection Stage. Chapter 1477, Shocking the Great Perfection Stage. The sword landed. Crack! A ray of light flashed, and with a sound, Feng Tian tried his best to block it. It was impossible to stop them. The difference in cultivation level between him and Long Fei was too great. His body was instantly cut in half. The head rolled to Long Fei's feet, eyes filled with fear. His expression still carried a stiff smile. Long Fei stomped his foot on the ground and coldly said, You can laugh slowly in hell. Out of the 70-some disciples that took the test, only 3 of them were still alive. Long Fei, Yi Jingyan, Nangong Yan. Everyone, all killed. And these people were all people who mocked Long Fei. If they liked to laugh, then they would have enough fun in hell. Long Fei looked at the night sky and said in a low voice, No one can stop me now. Zhan Wuxuan, you are strong, but I will definitely become stronger than you. I Long Fei swear. Boom! Long Fei moved. Summoning his God's war beasts, he said solemnly, Now, your slaughter has begun. Boom! The Ice Thunderbird was also released. The Fire Unicorn also stood in front of Long Fei. Long Fei said, Go and attract all the evil demon beasts in the mountains. I want to break through to the Great Perfection Stage. Understood. The 2 divine beasts rushed out. Long Fei was currently at the 8th level of the stage, 2 levels away from the Great Perfection Stage. Only by breaking through would he be able to obtain stronger strength. Moreover, more importantly, with his mastery of Tower Question of God, he could cultivate godly strength. True divine power. The divine power of Xiao Luo divine body. The god power of the sun god authentic artifact. The 2 powers had always been restricted by Long Fei's cultivation and could not be completely activated. As long as Long Fei grasped the divine power, the 2 powers would erupt. The level of Paragon was very important. Other than that, the nourishment and refinement of the body must be improved. Long Fei really wanted to level up a lot of things right now. He thought he had made ample preparations, but not yet. Next time, Long Fei would definitely not do this. Rumble. With a boom from the god's hammer, a huge tree that reached the sky was smashed into pieces. Splatters of wood flew everywhere as it let out a roar, the aura on its body spreading out and enveloping the entire mountain range. It growled out, All of you, come out and die. This was a direct provocation towards the demonic demon beast in the entire mountain range. Long Fei was crushed. Furthermore, he was being crushed under the fitted soul, so the god's war beast was in a bad mood as well. Over the past few thousand years, he had always been eating and waiting for death in the Chaos Realm. There was no hope, no thoughts, but now it was different. Long Fei ignited the hope that was sealed in his heart. This allowed him to see that one day he would be able to return to the ancient holy battlefield. Long Fei was his everything. Whoever dared to touch Long Fei would become his enemy. It was that simple. Long Fei was his hope. Boom! Boom! Deep within the mountain range, countless giant demon beasts let out deep roars, low roars of anger. In just a few seconds, all the demonic demon beasts were crazily roaring, and the entire mountain was shaking. Their footsteps were like thunder, as if they were a magnificent army with thousands of men and horses charging forward. Dust filled the sky. The corner of the god's war beast's mouth twitched, and the god's hammer in his hand moved slightly. He laughed in disdain. Come. At this time, Long Fei also stepped forward, with one hand to the sword of destroy. His fist sank as he glanced at the god's war beasts, and said, Let's see who kills the most. The god's war beast smiled slightly and said, Boss, you will definitely not be able to compete against me in this aspect. Long Fei said, What if you lose? The god's war beast was stunned for a moment, then laughed out loud. If I lose, you can even blow up my ass. As soon as he finished, the god's war beast's legs pushed, and its huge body jumped straight up, flying out like a heavy truck, after which it landed heavily on the ground and exploded. With another push, his body leaped into the air once more. With a few consecutive steps, he charged to the top of a mountain and let out a roar. The old man is here. All the small fries, come up. On the peak of the mountain, the god's war beast carried the god's hammer on its shoulder, and its eyes were like torches, sweeping through everything. It was like a monarch descending upon the world. What was a heavenly king? This was God's war beasts. Long Fei chuckled and said faintly, So fierce. I should try harder too. His figure rushed out like a ghost. If he wanted to compare himself to the tyrannical aura of the God's war beasts, Long Fei was a bit more feminine. However, if he was comparing killing intent, fighting intent, the dense killing intent on Long Fei's body was a lot more intense than the God's war beasts. Boom! Into the woods. A demonic demon, beast with hair like steel needles, rushed forward. Long Fei moved his fist, releasing his chi in all directions, and threw a heavy punch, blood moon punch. One punch, kill. Boom. With a punch, he sent the demon beast flying. Beneath the thick skin, all the joints were shattered. There was not the slightest bit of reaction. Ding! The system beep rang. The first one. Long Fei smiled slightly. Immediately after, his body sank, and once again rang out with the other demon beast. At the same time, Long Fei did not defend at all, cultivating his cultivation technique, and, at the same time, cultivating his flesh and blood. The best way to cultivate the body was to resist blows. This allowed for a heavier and fiercer attack to temper the body, allowing the potential within the body to be fully unleashed. In the group of demon beasts, Long Fei was like a god of death. Come on, all of you. Long Fei's eyes turned blood red. He roared and threw out a punch. Experience was soaring. His energy values was going wild. From dawn to dusk, then into the night. One day and one night, Long Fei did not stop for a moment. His entire body was dyed in blood, the blood of demon beast S and also his own blood. It was extremely sinister. Boom! Another demon beast fell. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing demonic demon beast for obtaining 90,000 experience, 8,000 holy source points, and 1 energy values point. Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the demonic blood vein. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Current level, Chun stage level 9. Buzz! A loud bang came from within his body as the power of stage 9 was channeled into his body. It was very strong, so Long Fei could clearly feel that his power had become stronger. Continue. Long Fei's instantly recovered, and as if it had resurrected, it rushed into the group of demon beast even more ferociously, killing them all. Boom! Rumble! On the morning of the 3rd day, demon beast corpses littered the ground. The valleys were covered in rivers of blood, and the sky was dyed red. Long Fei stood on top of a mountain. At this moment, the God's War beasts had already returned to the war pet space due to the time limit. Long Fei looked at the demon beast in front of him, looked at his last sliver of health, and then looked at the experience trail. He grinned slightly and said, Come, my great complete stage. Chapter 1478, System Reward, 1-star Godhood. Chapter 1478, System Reward, 1-star Godhood. His figure was like a remnant as he passed through. Boom! That demon beast slowly fell. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for killing demonic demon beast for obtaining 90,000 experience, 8,000 holy source, and 1 energy values. Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for leveling up. Semi-God. The instant the system beeped, a preliminary divine spark appeared in Long Fei's sea of consciousness. It wasn't material, like an illusion, as though an idea had formed. At the same time, a bit of power in his sea of consciousness, mind, and body poured into the initial divine spark. It seemed to be condensing. At present, he could not see its shape, nor could he sense its strength attribute. However, there was one thing Long Fei could clearly sense. It was extremely strong. Semi-God level realm? Long Fei muttered and thought, is this supposed to be the highest realm of Chaos Realm? Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for breaking through the Great Perfection stage and obtaining a special reward. Special reward? Long Fei's eyes shook, and he immediately became excited. The system's special reward must be extraordinary, and this is a special reward from the Great Perfection stage. It must be extraordinary. What is it? Ding! Congratulations to player Long Fei for obtaining the system's special reward. 1-star Godhood. As soon as he finished, in Long Fei's mind floated a sparkling and transparent stone that was the size of a thumb, and it emanated an endless power. Divine power. It faintly moved, emitting beams of divine light. Truly divine power. Compared to the tower question of God, the divine power they cultivated was only the divine power bestowed to them by the gods, but the divine power in the divine spark was a complete divine power. It was far more powerful than the divine power they had trained in. It was abnormally thick. Long Fei had a stupefied face. He was completely dumbstruck. The heck? This was the legendary divine spark? System. Long Fei was a little incoherent. Too excited. He had never thought that things would turn out this way. Happiness came too suddenly. Long Fei was not prepared at all. Last time at the ice and snow plane, he did not draw a divine spark during the rave draw. He did not expect to suddenly receive a divine spark this time. It was as if he suddenly possessed the entire world. A divine spark. Ha ha! Zhan Wushuang. Let me see how you can be so powerful. Can you defeat me in one move? I, your father, an idea of the gods, will instantly kill you. Long Fei was wild with excitement. The idea moved and quickly shouted, Blend Fo Godhead. At this moment, the sleeping beauty was suddenly awakened and immediately said, Master, wait. Long Fei was startled and asked, What's wrong? The system sounded out. Ding. Is it the blend Fo Godhead? Long Fei did not look at the 1-star Godhood's attributes. He only thought of one thing, the blend Fo Godhead, to obtain the divine power and trample Zhan Wushuang to death. Hearing the sleeping beauty's sudden shout, Long Fei stopped and asked again, Can't we fuse them? He didn't know why. The sleeping beauty started to become abnormally nervous. It was unknown if it was because he saw her divine vision or because Long Fei wanted to ask for the blend Fo Godhead, but Long Fei had never seen her this anxious. It was very strange. The sleeping beauty said, Of course not. Long Fei asked curiously, Why, I can obtain the god power from the blend Fo Godhead in Chaos Realm. It can be said that I can do whatever I want. The sleeping beauty said, Do you want your cultivation to remain in the realm of a 1-star god forever? Long Fei did not understand and asked, What do you mean? The sleeping beauty said, A divine spark is the result of the fall of a god. It appeared from the divine spark in his sea of consciousness, and its power is from the time of death. A 1-star godhood is 1-star god. If it is fused with you, your cultivation will forever remain in the same realm, which means that you will be able to completely absorb the power from the divine spark. Your cultivation will remain the same for an eternity. You will only be in the realm of a 1-star god and will not be able to break through any further. Divine Sparks, seal of cultivation, is very strong indeed. However, This was the only place where the fuse could stay. They would never be able to surpass the limits of this restriction. This was its fatal weakness. Long Fei was stunned. He did not even bother to look at the divine spark's properties. In his mind, he just wanted to stomp Zhan Wushuang to death. But he did not expect the blend FO Godhead to imprison his cultivation. And then, Long Fei looked at the attributes of the one-star godhood. It was just as the Sleeping Beauty had said. The cultivation of those who fused would be restricted, which is to say that Long Fei had fused with the realm of being only a one-star god forever. At this moment, Long Fei hesitated. The Sleeping Beauty said, "You have to think about it, whether it is for revenge or for something else, whether it is Zhan Wushuang or something else. You have to consider everything carefully. Zhan Wushuang, that's just a rock in front of me. Naturally, my target won't be him." Long Fei did not place Zhan Wushuang in his eyes at all. It was just a matter of time. His goal was Main Temple. It's the destiny god. It was the heavens. Long Fei exhaled, a lingering fear in his heart, and said, "Fortunately, you reminded me quickly, otherwise I would have merged with you." The blend FO Godhead's transformation to Zhan Wushuang was indeed satisfying. But it was just a moment of speed. How about killing Zhan Wushuang? With a 9-secret warrior family, let him go. How could the saint in the tower let him go? Although the Chaos Realm is not a divine plane, but this world also had divine-level powerhouses. One-star godhood were only the lowest-level divine sparks. Any 2-star could easily crush him. Huff! Long Fei let out a light breath, then said, "It won't be merged in the future." The Sleeping Beauty giggled. It was as if she was being relieved of a heavy burden, as she said, "Use your own strength to condense a divine spark. At that time, your potential will be infinitely amplified. The path of divine cultivation has just begun for you. Master, you must remember, a divine cultivator is different from ordinary martial arts training. It requires more energy to fuse together, and your path is one of divine cultivation. You must walk your own path of cultivation. The unique Tao of divine cultivator." Long Fei nodded and said, "Understood." The Sleeping Beauty giggled. Long Fei looked at her peerless appearance, and once again thought about the scene of the 9-dragon coffin. He said, "I really want to know just who you are. Where did you come from?" He had never felt such an intense desire to know the identity of the Sleeping Beauty before, because the feeling she gave Long Fei was just too strong. Ancient God? Long Fei had a feeling that she was stronger than the ancient god, and by far too much too. The Azure Dragon's primordial ancestor pulled the coffin. The guards. It was something that would never change. That kind of scene would make anyone's heart tremble. Long Fei was the same. The Sleeping Beauty giggled and said, "Master, do you really want to know?" Chapter 1479. 3 people come out. Chapter 1479. 3 people come out. Long Fei looked at the Sleeping Beauty's serious expression and nodded without hesitation. "I really want to know." He. The Sleeping Beauty stuck out her tongue and said, "I don't know either." "Air." Long Fei rolled his eyes. "I admire you, and you still look serious." "All right, I won't ask you this question next time." The Sleeping Beauty really didn't know? Honestly, Long Fei did not believe it. However, after this time, he would no longer ask this question. This was because if the Sleeping Beauty wanted to tell him, she would naturally tell him. If she didn't, he wouldn't be able to ask. The key was, she had been helping Long Fei the entire time. It was enough for them to keep helping him. The Sleeping Beauty pouted as its large eyes blinked. It looked a little wronged and a little sad. Its expression made one's heart ache just by looking at it. The Sleeping Beauty whispered like a mosquito, "Master, I'm sorry. I can't say it. I really can't say it. I'm afraid it will bring you a lot of trouble. Actually, I come from another plane, an unimaginable plane. I am here to find you." As for his goal, she didn't say it. Her goal was to find Long Fei. Otherwise, Long Fei would be endlessly hunted down and would become the target of the powerhouse, who were even more powerful than the powerhouse in this plane. There was no way Long Fei could survive. These sleeping beauties definitely could not let Long Fei know. Her voice was so soft that no one else could hear her. Long Fei naturally did not hear it either. Looking at the sleeping beauty's pitiful look, his heart ached to the point of breaking down. He hurriedly changed the topic and said, "Oh, right. How do we deal with the one-star godhood? A divine spark. To the warriors of the Chaos Realm, it was a treasure, compared to any holy artifact. Ancient holy artifacts were 100,000, a million times stronger, because it could truly allow you to soar into the skies, allowing a person who knows nothing to become a peak powerhouse. Even though he was a trash, he had instantly become a peerless powerhouse. That was his charm. Long Fei no longer had any interest in this divine spark, so dealing with it now was indeed a problem. The sleeping beauty thought for a moment and said, "It isn't of much use to you. Moreover, you can't absorb its power right now. You could decide on your own, give it to others, or throw it away." Casual. He completely didn't place this divine spark in his eyes. What others couldn't even ask for was like trash in her eyes. At this moment, Yi Jingyun and Nan Gongyin walked over, looking at the demon beast corpses littered the ground. The two of them were shocked on the way. What kind of scene was this? "Young Master Long, you killed them all by yourself? Aren't you being too awesome?" Yi Jingyun was in a state of disbelief. He looked at Yi Jingyun, then looked at Nan Gongyin, and thought to himself, "Are they suitable candidates? Or to those in the heavenly court's base in the infernal realm?" At that moment, Long Fei was also unable to make a decision. He wanted everyone around him to be able to break through their shackles and walk out of his path of divine cultivation, fusing with his unique divine spark. However, becoming a deity? It was too difficult. Amongst the billions of living beings in Chaos Realm, less than 1 in 10 million could break through the bottleneck and become a god. Even out of 1,000,000,000,000 people, it was hard for even one of them to become a deity. There were 2 paths to becoming a god in the Chaos Realm: to cross the heavenly tribulation and use the heavenly tribulation to condense a divine spark. The path was basically a dead end. The chances of one becoming a god were even slimmer. No one had succeeded for hundreds of years, and no one even tried now. It was the same as the gods' Martial Continent tribulation. If it failed, it would disappear into ashes. The other way would be for Tower Question of God. After entering the ancient holy battlefield, one could obtain merits in exchange for a divine spark. These are the 2 paths to becoming a god in the Chaos Realm. It was all extremely difficult, and the success rate was as low as it could be. Take the current Tower Question of God, for example. In these few hundred years, there had been a Zhan Wushuang who had appeared in the last 1,000 years, a person who was most likely to become a deity. And that's why. Only then would the Tower Question of God view him as a treasure. Huff! Long Fei eventually gave up. He only had one divine spark. Who should he give it to? He couldn't decide. He had to give it to someone who needed it more. Looking at Yi Jingyun, he smiled blandly and said, "Now, we will harvest these demon beasts' heads and will be teleported out in a few hours." Yi Jingyun laughed excitedly. This is a huge reversal. Martial arts practice field. The final day of the assessment. Other than the examiner Yi Sung, there was also a large group of Tower Question of God elders present. Beast Control Hall, Alchemy Hall, Refining Branch. They were all watching to see who would become the first disciple to come out, who would become the first person in the group. Did they have the qualifications to enter the Tower Question of God? This batch has quite a few good seedlings. Disciples who are able to obtain Volume Question of God are all geniuses amongst geniuses. If only we had a few more geniuses like Zhan Wushuang. Keep dreaming. There's only been one Zhan Wushuang in Chaos Realm for the past 1,000 years. How many more do you want? To be able to get even one more would already be burning incense to worship Buddha. Isn't this another batch of disciples that had killed the great clan elder? What is his potential? Just that piece of trash. Who knows what kind of strange power he cultivated based on his strength alone. He isn't even the Grand Elder's opponent. If he were to be compared with his second elder, this kind of trash will definitely not be able to enter the Tower Question of God. I heard that his pubes is broken and his tendons and veins are congealed. What potential can such a person have? He wants to compete with Zhang Wushuang? How can the stars compete with Hao Yue? Says he's a star that has been raised. He's also a slave. He has the mark of a slave on his body, and is just a lowly slave in the chaos realm. I really don't know what methods he used to obtain the volume question of God. All these are secondary. Do you know how many points he obtained in this exam? 2 times, and there are 2 more times that I'm 10 points. Haha. Can a trash like him pass the examination? Even a 3-year-old kid wouldn't be like him, right? Huh? The elders started to laugh out loud. Killing elders looking down on tower question of God. This made them feel extremely displeased. At the same time, they were more aware that Long Fei had offended Zhang Wushuang. This alone was enough for them to stand in formation. At this moment, Yi coughed and said, "Time is up. Open the secret world's door and summon them out." "Yes, sir." At this time, everyone quieted down and looked towards the exit of Secret World. Just who was the first to come out? The first person to come out was the best. This was automatically acknowledged by the Secret World. Buzz. The Secret World's door opened, and a figure was summoned out. The one standing in front of them was no other than Long Fei. Then 2 voices came out, Nangong Yin, Yi Jingyan. And then, there was no then. The 3 of them had returned. All the elders were stunned. However, at the same time, he was also enraged. Chapter 1480. Chapter 1480, where is he? One of the clan elders stared at Long Fei and bellowed. They had stared at the exit of the secret world for a long time, yet they did not see a 4th person walk out. In the end, there were only 3 people left from the 70-odd examination disciples. How is that possible? Without waiting for Long Fei to reply, an elder suddenly jumped in front of Long Fei and shouted, "I'm asking you a question. Where is he? Where are they?" Long Fei shrugged his shoulders and said, "I don't know. Why did you ask me? I'm not their nanny. How would I know where they are?" "You don't know?" The elder was enraged and said, "Long Fei, you don't know? Out of so many disciples here, only the 3 of you have returned." "Humph. You think we're 3-year-olds? Long Fei, tell us the truth. Otherwise, don't blame us for being impolite." All the elders clamored. This was no small matter. Out of the 100 disciples that took the test, only 3 remained. With so many disciples remaining, there was only 1. All dead. This was the first time in the history of a tower question of God. Long Fei was not afraid in the slightest, coldly laughed, and said, "You're not courteous? If anyone dares to touch me, then I, your father, will kill them." His eyes turned cold. His killing intent intensified. As long as that elder dared to touch him, he would not hesitate to crush him. Good. Long Fei, I've heard that you're arrogant, but I didn't believe in the past. Now, I know how arrogant you are. That elder was flustered and exasperated and said, "I was just spouting nonsense. Even if all the disciples from the examination die, don't even think about stepping into the tower question of God. Understand? I won't let you in." Long Fei laughed and said, "You won't let me in? It's not up to you, is it? What qualifications do you have to prevent me from entering the tower question of God? If not for the fact that the tower question of God was hiding the answer that Long Fei wanted to know, and if not for the fact that Xin Yuan Lier was inside the tower question of God, Long Fei would really be disdainful to enter. However, the more people didn't want him to enter, the more he wanted to enter. The elder yelled, "On what basis?" "Based on my status as an elder of the tower question of God and your tone of voice right now, I am qualified to use all my power to not let you in." Long Fei laughed. "Elder, I have already killed Yin Tianluo. Why would I be afraid of you, this clan elder? I really don't place you in my eyes. Unbridled, savage to the extreme. So what if he was an elder? If you offend me, I will still make a fool of myself." The atmosphere became tense. Almost all the clan elders were enraged. Long Fei was too arrogant. He had truly provoked the wrath of everyone. However, Long Fei did not mind at all. Nangong Yin stepped forward to mediate the situation. Elders, the demonic demon beast in the hunting grounds are too strong, and there are also hordes of beasts. Many disciples died inside. Although we did not see all of the disciples die in there, we did see a lot of them. We only know about these things. Yi Jingyun also quickly said, "It's all true, I don't know who did it, but all the demonic beasts inside looked like they had eaten aphrodisiac. All of them were extremely ferocious, unable to resist at all. Could it be that the Beast King question of God's incident happened again, and more people want to take action against us? If these elders try to stop them, it would truly be a troublesome matter." The leader of the elders said with a dark expression, "Then why did only the three of you come back?" Yi Jingyun joked, "Because we are handsome." Huh? The elders stared at Yi Jingyun, and Yi Jingyun immediately replied, "It should be our good luck." Humph! The elder snorted, "Good luck? I think the three of you have escaped this calamity while hiding in the dog hole. Do the three of you think that you can pass the examination? One look, and you are all disciples who have done nothing. You don't even need to look at the results, do you? Immediately pack your bags and go home. Where did you come from? Go back to where you came from. Don't embarrass yourself in front of the tower question of God." The few elders sneered in disdain. Long Fei slightly said, "How do you know that we have not done anything?" The elder smiled and said, "What's wrong? What else do you do? 0 points? 10? Only trash like you can do anything? Even if I had to find a 3-year-old child, I would be better than you, Long Fei." The word trash made Long Fei extremely unhappy, and the anger in his heart surged. Yi Jingyun immediately pulled Long Fei back and said, "According to the assessment rules, the first 5 disciples aren't qualified to enter the tower question of God, are they?" This is what the Yi Song said. This was also the standard for this assessment. Top 5. There was no need to look anymore. Long Fei and the other 2 should be the only disciples left, and all of them should have already entered. However, after Yi Jingyun finished speaking, all the elders laughed loudly. Ha ha ha, ha ha. It was as if he was mocking Yi Jingyun for being an idiot. That elder was laughing so hard that he fell back and forth. "Who told you to take the top 5? Yi Sung was slightly taken aback, then said, "That's what the higher-ups told me." The elder laughed. "Up there? Did the higher-ups tell you that trash isn't accepted? Did they tell you that the examinees who scored 0 in the exam were not in the admission range? And the 3 of them did not achieve anything in the final round of assessment. This is called fleeing from the battle, hiding like mice. And you think the 3 of you are trash to become tower question of God's disciples? Is there something wrong with your brains?" Ha ha! The crowd laughed maniacally. Other than Yi Sung, all the elders and oracless in the entire training field were laughing at Long Fei and the other 2. Long Fei was very unhappy. Staring at that elder, he asked solemnly, "Then how do we get accepted?" The elder laughed mockingly. "What kind of results can you achieve in the last round? 100 points? 200 points? Or could it be 0? Upon saying 0, all of the elders began to laugh loudly again. Yi Sung frowned. Long Fei's expression did not change, and he said, "As long as you have enough points, you will be accepted, right?" "That's right. A total of 6 rounds. If your final score can reach 500 points, then you'll be eligible to be admitted." 500 points. Do you? A person with 2 marks, do you have the qualifications to do so? With that elder began to laugh loudly again. Ha ha ha! Yi Zichen laughed nonstop. Long Fei clenched his fists. The elder mocked, "What? Are you unconvinced? If you don't accept it, then take out your last round of demon beast hunting. Take it out." He was very clear in his heart that there definitely was no demon beast in Long Fei's group. He wanted to humiliate Long Fei once again. "You can't take it out, right? Ha ha! Go home and farm." Ha! All of the elders began to laugh. At this moment, Long Fei slowly walked to the training grounds. At the same time, Yi Jingyun and Nan Gong Yin also walked over. "What do they want?" Long Fei suddenly stopped and said, "Open your dog eyes wide and see clearly." Chapter 1481, Is That Enough? Chapter 1481, Is That Enough? Yi Jingyun. Long Fei shouted. Yi Jingyun grinned. Understood. Boom. A bloodied monster head was taken out from the space ring and slammed onto the ground. Yi Jingyun laughed complacently. Do you know what this is? Demonic demon beast. Everyone was slightly shocked. He was shocked by the sudden appearance of the monster head. The elder sneered and said, A demon beast? What's the use of it? What could it change? You picked up this monster head, right? Yi Jingyun was also in a bad mood and said, Then you'll have to watch it for me. Boom, boom, boom. One after another, monster head were taken out. Their speed was extremely fast. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of monster head were piled up like hills. If each of them was worth 1 point, these monster head score would have already reached over 300 points. Yi Jingyun laughed. Is that enough? The entire arena was incomparably quiet. Those elders had unsightly expressions on their faces. It was as if someone had slapped them, making them feel uncomfortable. Yi Jingyun laughed. You're still here to pick them up? If you have the guts, go in and pick one up. Yi Jingyun slowly walked down, returning back to Long Fei's side. At this time, Long Fei yelled again, Nan Gongyan. Nan Gongyan walked forward and said, Understood. It's my turn. Look carefully. Boom, boom, boom. There was another huge pile, and there were more than 400 of them. Half of the training grounds was occupied by the two monster head, and the elders could not make a sound. Only the Yi Sung was incomparably excited. Nan Gongyan disdained and said, Is that enough? Imperceptibly, another slap landed on their old faces. It was extremely painful. And then, Nan Gongyan also returned to Long Fei's side. Long Fei grinned and said, All clan elders, do you have the qualifications now? The elders were perplexed. These were all demonic beasts. They were very strong, but no one had been able to kill this mini demon beast within 3 days. Are you crazy? The reason why this round of examination was placed in the final round was because it was the most difficult. To be able to kill 3 of these disciples in 3 days was already his limit. Even if he formed a team, he could only kill 10 at most. How could he not be shocked when he killed several hundred of them at once? The elder gritted his teeth and said, The 2 of them are qualified, but you are still not qualified. Do you want to take out all of the monster head? Long Fei smiled slightly. The elder said, Can you take it out? You won't cry until you see the coffin? Long Fei laughed and said, Clan elder, how about we make a bet? If I win, then just say that you're trash, and say that 3 times. How is it? That elder was angered and said, Impudent. Long Fei disdainfully snorted and said, Stop with the nonsense. This daddy only asked you if you dare to say that, and don't talk nonsense with me about those useless things. The elder's eyes moved, and he said, The 2 of them have 370 heads, and the other has 430. If you kill more than 500 demonic beasts, just take it as me losing. Do you dare to bet? Even if Long Fei had a monster head, it wouldn't exceed 500. Nan Gongyan glanced at Long Fei. Long Fei's eyes slightly shivered. The clan elder immediately became excited and said, Long Fei, aren't you arrogant? Is it wilting now? Do you dare to take a gamble? If you have the guts, bet with me. If I lose, I'll do as you say. If you lose, kneel down and kowtow to me. Also, you are never allowed to take even half a step into the Tower Question of God. Betting. Seeing Long Fei's change in expression, he became excited. Only a terrified person would have such an expression. This time, he was definitely going to win. Long Fei said hesitantly, Is the wager unfair? I think. Do you want to bet or not? No way. That elder took a step forward and became even more proud. Aren't you arrogant? Arrogant. Isn't this a fair bet? All right. Then how do you think we should be fair? Long Fei said, Elder, is that right? Otherwise, I think we should just forget about it. No way. The elder shouted. You said that you wanted to gamble. Now, do you want to? If you don't bet, you can kneel down and kowtow and admit your wrongs. Long Fei said, You think I'm afraid of you? If I win, not only would you call yourself trash, you would also call yourself a fool. Humph. Do you think you can scare me? That elder coldly snorted. I ate more salt than you did. You want to bomb me? Long Fei, you have lost for sure today. Long Fei laughed and said, You eat so much salt, so it's not salty at all? You want to bet, right? Fine. I'm really afraid that you won't be betting anymore. Long Fei's expression suddenly changed. He knew that this guy would fall for his trick. It's not enough to call me trash. It's more than enough to call me stupid. Seeing Long Fei's expression, the elder's heart suddenly sank as he exclaimed in his heart, Damn it. However, there was no turning back now. He secretly clenched his fists and said solemnly, I do not believe that you can kill 500 demon beasts. And then Long Fei laughed and said, I saw it clearly. Boom, 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 boom. The monster head S exploded in a series of attacks. Nangong Yin and Yi Jingyun counted at the same time, both of their faces revealing complacent smiles. 500? This was just to make sure. Not to mention 500 of them, even 50,000 of them, including Long Fei, had all been killed by Long Fei. Of course, this also gave Long Fei time to get rid of those heads. Boom, boom, boom. 687. 761. It was not over. Half an hour passed. Boom. 1,798. The last monster head was taken out. Long Fei looked at the dumbstruck elder, smiled slightly, and said, Is that enough? His face was pale. It was extremely ugly. The elder's body was trembling slightly. Everyone on the stage was shocked. Over 1,000 demon beasts. This was simply impossible, but the reality before him made it impossible to argue with him. Long Fei didn't care whether they were shocked or not. He just stepped forward and smiled. Elder, let's fulfill your bet. Come, let everyone hear whether you're a waste or a fool. Ha ha! Long Fei laughed. The elder's eyes turned sinister as he stared at Long Fei and said, Long Fei, I'm an elder of the Tower Question of God. Don't push your luck. Yo, if I let you fulfill the bet, then you'll have to push your luck. Then why did you laugh at me just now? What's that called? I'm trash. Who's the trash now? Long Fei didn't budge an inch as he stepped forward and said coldly, Either you fulfill the bet, or I'll hit you until you fulfill the bet. Chapter 1482. His father is an apostle of the evil oracle. Chapter 1482. His father is an apostle of the evil oracle unconvinced? Beat him until he's submitted. As long as he doesn't honor the terms, Long Fei will make his move. Long Fei's voice was filled with chilliness. When he thought of Kai Tianan, Yin Tianhua's heart sank, and he said faintly, I am. Long Fei suddenly shouted, Haven't you eaten? Shout louder for lousy. The elder's expression was extremely ugly. He said in a deep voice, I'm a waste. I'm an idiot. I'm a waste. I'm an idiot. He repeated it 3 times in a row. After he finished speaking, the elder looked at Long Fei and said, Long Fei, this matter is not over yet. After which, he immediately rose into the air and quickly disappeared. He didn't dare to stay any longer. This was too embarrassing. Long Fei smiled, looked at the elders and said, Do I have the right to enter the Tower Question of God with enough points? Nearly 2,000 points. This result, breaking all history, even Zhang Wushuang's 1,300 points were firmly stepped on. Those elders didn't dare to say a single word. This score had already surpassed everything and proved everything. If they were to say anything more, it would just be nonsense, and there was no point in it at all. Yixing took a step forward and said faintly, Right now, I will choose Long Fei, Yi Jingyun, and Nangong Yin will pass the examination. From this moment onwards, you will be true disciples of the Tower Question of God, and tomorrow I will bring you into the Tower Question of God. As soon as he finished, Yi Jingyun excitedly jumped up. I've finally succeeded. I've finally succeeded, huh? Nangong Yin was also crying tears of joy. If it was her alone, it would be very difficult. She looked at Long Fei with incomparable gratitude in her heart. Without Long Fei, every step they took would be even more difficult. She felt that she was relying too much on Long Fei. Young Master Long, we are now the disciples of the Tower Question of God. We are now the disciples of the Tower Question of God. Yi Jingyan was so excited that he looked like he was about to go berserk. How cool. In the future, we can do whatever we want, ha ha ha. Those girls still don't want to post everything when they see me. Wow, my blissful sexual life is coming. Ha ha. Seeing the two of them being so happy, Long Fei revealed a smile as well. It really wasn't easy. The final test was a comeback. Yi Sung laughed. You guys go back and have a good rest. I will report my points to the higher-ups, and tomorrow, change into clean clothes and go to the Tower Question of God with me. Long Fei said, Clan Elder, can we attack the Tower Question of God? Yi Sung said, Of course you can. Every accepted disciple has the qualifications to enter the Tower Question of God. You will know about it after entering the Tower Question of God. However, Long Fei, you really have to change your attitude. The Tower Question of God is much stronger than you can imagine, and the cultivation of the saint in the tower are all much stronger than Great Elder Yin. Yi Jingyun was the first to be shocked, and said, That fierce. Long Fei's face did not reveal any expression, but his heart was excited. Damn, not only level 1, but 100 levels 1 boss, that is called Tower Question of God, that's called Boss Tower. I am now a semi-realistic realm. It should be able to level up to the God realm. A level 100 boss. Is that enough for me to become a god? Heh. Tower Question of God. Just you wait. Laozi is here to mess with you. Long Fei laughed in his heart. Yin Tianluo's experience was shockingly high, so the Saint boss on the 100 floor would definitely be even more extraordinary. Just thinking about it made Long Fei extremely excited. This was indeed a Tower Question of God. Long Fei's leveled up to a divine God's tower. Yi Sung brought Long Fei and the other two people's results back to the Tower Question of God. Inside the God's Tower, Temple Question of God. Inside the palace were the Saint-S of the various God's Tower-S. When they heard that the Yi Sung had announced Long Fei's points, a few of the Saint-S immediately stood up and said, You killed over 1,700 demonic beasts? Yi Sung nodded his head heavily. Yes. His score is close to 2,000. He's the first person in history. Compared to Zhan Wushuang's score, before he could finish, one of the saint's voices was forcefully suppressed and immediately suppressed the Yi Sung's voice and said, Only he wants to compete with Zhan Wushuang? Long Fei's grade was higher than Zhan Wushuang's, which made some people unhappy. In the eyes of these Tower Question of God, there was only one Zhan Wushuang, and it had been one for 1,000 years. No one could replace him, and even more so, no one could surpass him. Long Fei. It was simply impossible. Yi Sung was crushed to the point that he was unable to speak. A saint said indifferently, The points cannot explain everything, but this boy is indeed not simple. To be able to kill more than 1,000 demonic beasts, this is considered the highest in history. Maybe a talent. Yi Sung, you bring the three of them here. The pressure on Yi Sung's mind finished, and he immediately said, Disciple will do as you say. And then Yi Sung asked, Sir, can they come to Impact Sky Tower tomorrow? Naturally, every single disciple who passes the examination have the qualifications to be at Impact Sky Tower. The saint casually said. Yi Sung was secretly happy. He believed that Long Fei would definitely bring about a sensation and surpass Zhan Wushuang. With this joy, he quickly rushed to the assessment board. In the Temple Question of God, a saint said coldly, 5 rounds of examinations is only 120 points. If it wasn't for the last round, he would have been eliminated already. A disciple like that is a speculator. Regarding the matters of the Impact Sky Tower, I feel that it is necessary to inspect them properly. What if he is the disciple of the evil oracle? A saint said, That can't be. We cannot disqualify any of the disciples from the Impact Sky Tower S. Why not? We can't let the evil oracle's disciples enter this place, right? Long Fei is too murderous, and he is extremely sinister in his heart. Even if such a person is not a disciple of evil oracle, we should at least test him. At this moment, a voice sounded from the Great Hall and said slightly, Zhan Wushuang, you've known him for quite some time. Why don't you tell him whether or not you should let his Impact Sky Tower? Her voice was very calm. However, the entire hall instantly fell silent. Silence. This was because the voice came from the tower question of God's Tower Master. It was also at this moment. Zhang Wushuang walked in from outside the great hall. Looking at the numerous saints, he bowed slightly and said, "Greetings, masters." The saints all smiled. They could even be said to be perfect towards Zhang Wushuang and the rest, especially his talent and potential. Until now, they could not see where the limits of what could be said to be his. Zhang Wushuang said slightly, "I don't know if he is a disciple of the evil oracle, but I know that he has the power of Azura inside him. I know that he was once a lowly slave in the beast battling arena. I know that he escaped the judgment of destiny, and I also know that his father was a disciple of the evil oracle." Chapter 1483, Entering the Tower Question of God. Chapter 1483, Entering the Tower Question of God. Young Master Long, tomorrow we will be able to enter Impact Sky Tower. I heard that there's a saint on every floor of the God's Tower. They can point out your inadequacies. After 100 floors, our cultivation can be said to have reached the strongest peak realm in one chaos realm. Yi Jingyan was excited. Ever since he returned from the martial arts practice grounds, he had been like this, incomparably excited. Nangong Yin said, "Aren't you thinking a little too simply? Impact Sky Tower can indeed help the martial arts training, but have you thought about it yet? The God's Tower S and Saint S on every floor are all super powerhouse." Long Fei was curious. "Aren't you getting a little too excited?" Yi Jingyun scratched his head, saying, "I'm not afraid of you making fun of me. My dream is to become an Impact Sky Tower." The moment my father handed the volume question of God over to me, in my heart, I imagined what kind of scene it would be when I charge into the Tower Question of God. My dream will come true. Yo, Master Long, I have to thank you for all of this. Long Fei laughed. This is all exchanged with your own hard work. Long Fei had indeed helped a lot. But if Yi Jingyun didn't work hard, he wouldn't be where he was now. Yi Jingyun gave a silly smile and said, "Young Master Long, what is your dream?" Nangongyan also looked at Long Fei seriously. "Dream?" Long Fei was startled for a moment, then said slightly, "We will never be bullied. Let's say this is a dream, to forever protect the people by our side." As he spoke, he glanced at Nangongyan. Yi Jingyun was startled, then said, "Young Master Long, then your dream is too strong, and that is the strongest king. There are divinity, ancient holy battlefield, and above the bastard world, there is also main temple, and even more so, heaven. Don't tell me your dream is to smash the heavens." "Ha!" Yi Jingyun said so much that even he himself began to laugh. He was joking. However, Long Fei said in a serious tone, "Why not?" Yi Jingyun was stunned. Nangong Yin was also stunned. Who dared to stop him? The sky was the same as the one he was going to destroy. When he was in God's martial continent, he was crushed by the envoys, and when he was in Chaos Realm, he was able to remember all of it. It was not that he did not report it. It was just that time was not up yet. All three of them had dreams of their own. They chatted late into the night. Early morning, Iseng woke them up. Today was an important day. In the Iseng's heart, this was the most important day for Long Fei and the other two. After today, they were going to start the Impact Sky Tower. He might even be able to break through the 100 floors and enter the ancient holy battlefield. It would bring honor to the Chaos Realm. All of you must remember, do not be too presumptuous like in the assessment department. You must first think of what you can say and what you cannot say. Do not speak without restraint. The Yi Sung reminded again and said, "Especially you, Long Fei, since Temple Cushion of God is a group of holy saint, they wouldn't joke around with you. Remember, don't mess around." Ising was really afraid that Long Fei would start a fight again if he disagreed with what he just said. This was the Temple Cushion of God, the place where the Saint S gathered. It was a place where even ordinary elders did not have the right to enter, and it was only because he was an examiner that he was lucky to enter. Otherwise, he would not have had the chance in his life. Long Fei nodded his head. We will remember. All right, follow me. Yi Sung slightly moved. The chi on his body burst out and flew into the sky. Long Fei and the other two followed closely behind. Long Fei thought, looks like the tower question of God is indeed in the sky. Yi Jingyun said excitedly, Clan Elder, are the gods' tower in the air? Yi Sung smiled. You will know soon enough. 10 minutes later, Yi Sung formed a seal with his fingers, activated Holy Source, and released a ray of light that shot into the sky. Next, a series of thick stone doors opened. In the sky, a massive stone door opened up. This stone door seemed as if the heavens had opened up. It stood between the heavens and earth, incomparably formidable. Long Fei was completely shocked by what he saw. Yi Jingyun was immediately struck dumb and said, Wow, this is a bit too cool, isn't it? Sky Gate. Sky Gate. The tower question of God was reputed as the most mysterious place in the Chaos Realm, so very few people knew of his location. Moreover, this place was also known as the Divine Land, one of the paths to becoming a god. This place was heaven for all martial practitioners, and it was also a shortcut for them. Countless people squeezed their way through to this place, wanting to break through their skin and become a god. Other than Tower Question of Goddess, there were also many others here. And there is also the divine path. To be able to train in divine power, to be able to condense a divine spark into its elementary form. If he was able to obtain a chance bestowed upon him by God, he might even be able to transcend mortality and become a deity. It's always possible here. Nangong Yan's face was also filled with shock as he asked, Elder, what was that imprint you had just now? Yi Sung laughed blandly. That is the mark of the Sky Gate's gate of opening. At that time, someone will teach you. Yi Jingyun said, Can we train with this imprint too? The Yi Sung replied, Of course you can. Any disciple can train with it. Wow, I can imagine it, but if I go back to the skyscraper city in the future, wouldn't that mean I'd be able to mesmerize those beauties in the city to death? Ha ha ha! Yi Jingyun excitedly laughed out loud. Yi Sung was slightly startled and said, We went in. 4 voices flew into the Sky Gate. Next, the Sky Gate was closed. A painting scroll opened by Long Fei and the others was like a world of immortals, surrounded by immortal clouds and cascading down from the sky. The immortal mountain floated in the air. The various buildings and pavilions on the immortal mountain were all extremely dazzling, causing one to be unable to take their eyes off them. Look, Yi Jingyun suddenly exclaimed. He pointed towards the depths of the clouds, where a gigantic square golden pagoda appeared in midair, stretching from the peak of the pagoda into the depths of the sky, where one could not see the end of it. The body of the tower was glowing with a golden light. It made people feel endless divine power. Tower Question of God. Is that the Tower Question of God? Yi Jingyun trembled in excitement. He felt that he was only one step away from his dream. Yi Sung laughed. That's right. That is a Tower Question of God. Long Fei looked over, and it gave him a different feeling. His eyes lit up. Wow, what the hell is this? A super great holy artifact. The Sleeping Beauty also suddenly said, This Tower Question of God was created by the god of its own accord. Main artifact? Long Fei's heart trembled, and his blood boiled. The Sleeping Beauty giggled. Although you can't reach the level of main artifact, it's more or less the same. But it's a little difficult for you to get hold of him. Who cares about the difficulty? As long as I, Long Fei, see something, it's mine. Long Fei laughed sinisterly. Main artifact. He can let go. Long Fei was never afraid of too many good things. Just as the 3 of them were in the midst of the majestic and powerful Tower Question of God scene, a golden-armored elder descended and shouted, Who is it? The Yi Sung bowed slightly and said respectfully, He is this year's new disciple. Golden Armor Elder disdainfully said, So it's these 3 pieces of trash. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.